Welcome back to some Demon Muramasa, everyone. It's Masamune versus Ginseigo, and I guess Kageaki's there watching from the sidelines. I don't know what he's doing, but for someone who's obsessed with defeating his rival, he seems utterly disinterested, should I say, in attempting to win this. Come on, Kageaki. Or are you just gonna watch Masamune try to 1v1 Ginseigo? You know it's not gonna go well. And as she starts, die you crazy silver F. Yep.
てめえが殺した人間は数えきれない。てめえ一人を切ったって帳尻は合わない。
Killing you won't help your victims. Nothing can bring those people back.
てめえを裁く正義は遅すぎたんだ。今さら補いのつけようもねえ。
You had to wait far too long. Justice came too late for them.
それでもこれ以上は好き放題にやらせてたまるかよ。私と政宗がここでてめえを止めてやる。
But it ends now.
無駄ぐだやかましいわこの打剣が。
Get ready, Ginseigo. The end of the light. Cease your blathering cur. Oh. I must have lost consciousness, though not much more than a second has passed. In that time, the world has changed. The first thing I notice is that I'm on my knees. My body feels distant and numb, and I can't muster the strength to stand. The next thing I notice is that Ichijo is missing, and sensing my confusion, Muramasa activates her radar. Kageaki just AFKing while she fights. One contact 4 kilometers northeast. 4 kilometers, it's hard to believe, but that's what our radar says. I decide I can trust the contact. Ordinarily, radar is useless on the ground where terrain, trees, and structures clutter the readout. In this case, however, the readout's clear. There is, after all, nothing left between us and the contact. In the flat, featureless wasteland Oyumi's become, Ginseigo stands alone unchanged. There's no evidence in her posture of how she accomplished this. A punch, a kick, the sweep of a sword? I haven't a clue what my enemy did. Perhaps she didn't do anything, or perhaps her anger alone was enough. And now she's glaring across the divide that separates her from the world she created. Her eyes fixed on me are colder than I've ever seen them before, and hotter too. Ice and fire feeding off each other in a frozen, seething cauldron. The silver demon is disappointed. I can't believe it. I can't believe what I'm hearing. Are we cheating on you?
こともあろうにそんな欺瞞へ逃避するとは裏目に出るにも程がある。
After everything, after all this time, you choose to flee into a lie?
あのざれ言さえここまで愚かしくはなかった。
Even mother's teachings were not this foolish. They at least had some foundation. If you are being magically compelled by your armor by the weapon/armor you equip to do something, does that really indicate a belief in anything? It indicates a belief in absolutely nothing, but alas, Ginseigo is completely insane and wouldn't understand that. Yeah, foolish, but they had foundation? I don't know about that. Be a Kageaki? You like even that?
今のお前の道はそれすらも書く。
Using sweet words to shield yourself from the truth?
薄っぺらな甘い妄想だけでできている。
Another question will be, what makes your belief system more true than Masamune's belief system that all evil must perish to the ends of the earth? I don't think she's come up with a justification for that one. Masamune's opinion is equally valid as Muramasa's opinion. Until proven otherwise.
まさかお前が
Using those sweet words to shield you
そん
from
な
the
もの
truth.
になってしまうとは。
I never for a moment believed you'd come to this. Her rage crashes over me, words stabbing into my heart deep until I can taste the blood. But why? She's nothing but a killer. Why should her condemnations wound me so? I know the reason I chose this path. It freed me from the curse, from the need to offer up an innocent for every villain I slay. Now I can complete my mission with the minimum loss of life. The only people who need to die are those whom Ichijo, in her uncompromising dedication to justice, judged and found guilty. Where's the wrong in that? What have I done to earn such ridicule? Does he, like, forget the part where she's not completely sane? And if I truly don't know the answer, why do I tremble so?
鍵明お前は何を勘違いしたのだ
What have you been telling yourself, Kageaki?
正義だと
That if you follow her, your
どう
fight
理
is
屈が
just?
そうなる
Why? Because you
一
only
人
kill
しか
half as
殺さ
many?
なくて済むからか
I mean, more like it seems a waste to kill random people.
二人殺すのは悪行だが
Killing two people
一
is wrong,
人で済
killing
むの
one
な
is
ら正
somehow
義だ
right.
とでも言うのか
Killing one person is necessity. Killing one is necessity. Killing two is just a gross waste of resources and thoroughly unnecessary. Obviously, I don't even know how this is a question. It's like, so killing someone you want to kill is wrong, but like killing someone you're magically compelled to kill is right, and you're like, well, surely there's a threshold for what is reasonable and what is not in anything, right? A simple... Anyone can make a value judgment on something. No. It takes an effort of will, but I managed to force my jaw to move. The voice which emerges has the texture of rust.
数の問題ではない。何の罪もない人を殺さずにいられる。一条と一緒に戦うなら。だからそうするのだ。
It's not about
当
how
然の
many.
断りだ。
It's about sparing the innocent. Her way means I don't have to kill people who've done nothing wrong. It's the only sane choice. I mean, you make a value judgment in what is worth killing. Either way, innocent or not. And you can kill innocents if you so choose, but it doesn't make sense to force someone to do something or to artificially modify the value proposition of killing someone and then claim that their philosophy should be that because they're magically compelled to do it.
罪
But
あ
those
る
who
人
have
間な
done
らば
wrong,
殺
killing
しても
them?
いや違
No, let's
う
be accurate.
罪ある人
Having
間
her
な
kill
らば
them is righteous
殺
enterprise.
させても構わないと
I mean,
そう
I
いう
would
こと
say it's probably the same as your philosophy. He just resonates with it more. Is it a righteous enterprise?
許されざる罪はある。死す
There
べ
are
き
evils
罪
that
人は
cannot
確か
be
にいる
redeemed.。There are people who deserve to die.
その中には強大な力を持つがゆえに司法にも裁かれぬ者がいる。ロックハ
Sometimes
ラや
those people are beyond the law's reach,
銀星号
like Rokuhara and
お前のようにだ。
Ginseigo.
一条はかかる巨悪の初段を己が使命とした。
Ichijo has made it her purpose to punish the evils society cannot.
それが間違ったことだとは
She only does what must be done.
思わない。
Must. Interesting choice. Should. Bit better.
なるほど
At least from her
そうか
perspective, right? Aha, I see. Ginseigo's voice is thick with scorn.
確かにそれは正しい行いかもしれないな
She's doing what must be done very well.
しかしだからといって
Does it make it right?
それを成した者が正義を名乗れる道理があるか
Not necessarily. There could be a better way than killing everyone who you deem evil. However, circumstances do not permit such a thing. And until that is the case, you may as well do the best you can. I think that's a decent argument. Like, does every cut purse need to die? Probably not. But if you don't have any power to control them, or if you lack political power and there's no way to punish them other than with the sword, you might be forced to do so, or just accept that they'll do whatever they want. Right? Like, is the classical punishment of cutting off the hands of a thief a good punishment for a thief? No, it's bad for the state, it's bad for the thief, and it doesn't discourage theft. It's literally bad at all three of its roles, but if they can't steal anymore or they're clearly identified as it, well, it might theoretically help some people or prevent it in some way by making it more difficult to do so. Not a good solution, but maybe if you don't have an efficient jailing system, or an effective prison system and a reasonable way to reintroduce people to society or re-educate them, it might actually be necessary. Or if people aren't used to living in a society, harsher punishment may be required. I mean, these days, if you cut off someone's hand for like stealing a loaf of bread, you'd be insane. Not only is that a ridiculous value proposition, like someone's hand, which is probably going to significantly impede all of their future earnings, in exchange for like $2 is absolutely ridiculous. It's like most of the time you just be like, suck it up, it's $2, and like maybe if someone's hungry, but like, you know, like that's where we are right now, where it doesn't make a lot of sense. And there's opportunity. If the person really, really keeps doing that, maybe he does need jail or something. Like, they still do it in some places in the Middle East today? Perhaps, but I don't want to like make assumptions if I don't know the law. I can say that's what they used to do because I know that's what they used to do, but I don't want to say they're doing that in a country that I don't know. If I don't have like a specific example. Like I can say there is like Christian prosecution and homosexuals are actively being prosecuted in specific countries in the world, and I can even name some of those countries. But I don't have one of those for something like straight from like the 1st century AD of like lopping hands off for stealing anything. I'm pretty sure most places in the Middle East wouldn't do that just because it would look really bad if it was for something really fucking trivial. Realistically, even if it's on the books, they might not assign it. It's like the maximum sentence, you know. Theoretically, it's like when the newspaper says like, oh, this person could be facing up to 20 years in jail, and you look at it and it's like the maximum sentence is 20 years, the minimum is like 2 months community service. And you're like, okay, well, we know what's happening here. Sensationalism. Alright. Well, she's doing what must be done. Does it make it right? Is what must be done right? Not inherently so. After all, you could say, if you kill someone, you must kill another random person you like. Means it's a compulsion, therefore a must. And does it make it right? No. So the answer is no. If it must be done, if someone is forced to do it, you are not obligated. It's not inherently good. Are you saying killing a murderer doesn't make you just as guilty? Hello, what are you? Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot his mom is like knockoff Batman, where no matter what, killing people is wrong, no exceptions. Regardless of the consequences. No, that doesn't work. Well, he doesn't have an answer to his mom's Batman philosophy, and it's been like 2 years. Don't be a fool, Kageaki. When you take a life, it makes no difference who or why. This is someone who literally just kills people at random. Don't listen to their stupid philosophy. Easy answer is like, there is certainly a difference as to who or why dies and their impact on the world, as well as the morality of doing so. See? In all cases, you're simply fulfilling your role as a vessel of might. You fought, won, and killed your opponent. It needs no more justification than that. See? Told you she was gonna go into some crazy philosophy.
罪の有無
Was killing them right?
俺には関心のないことだ
Not a question that interests me personally.
罪とやらを問うなら
I should
正
always
当な殺人であろうと
I
不当
should
な
think the
殺
answer
人
would
であろ
always
うと
be the
変わら
same.
ない生命を破壊し終わりにするという意味では
Kills to
ど
destroy
ちら
life,
も
nothing
全
may
く同
change
じ
that
ことな
fact.
のだからな
And there it is, I'm powerless to stop her because I know she speaks the truth. If I accept it, I must also accept that all of this was founded on a lie. That will mean betraying
だと
Ichijo,
しても
and even then Ginseigo.
死すべき者だけが死ぬならば村正は死すべきではない者も殺してしまう
Muramasa kills those who don't deserve to
それを
die. If I can
避けられるなら
prevent that, kill only
意味が
those who do. Then there's meaning. The word goes unspoken, though I can't say for certain why. Perhaps Ginseigo cut me off. Perhaps I lack the conviction. Perhaps I'm utterly confused why this guy does not have an answer to the question of everyone should die versus no one should die. It seems like the most straightforward thing. Like, I don't know anyone who realistically, when presented with Batman and his moral failing of releasing, like the classic Batman Joker dilemma, doesn't say at some point Batman should kill Joker, if for no other reason than because you know for absolute certainty that you will be saving more lives than ending them, and you aren't becoming an inherently awful person. But whatever. This character, Kageyaki, seems completely at a loss as to deal with anything between two extreme philosophies of kill nobody and kill everybody. Which I feel like to a normal person shouldn't be a challenge, as most normal people would probably say, I don't think everyone should be murdered, and I don't think nobody should die. Ever. Like, there's probably a reasonable threshold for almost everybody. Alright.
何を言っている
What are you
死
talking
すべ
about,
きは
Kageyaki?
弱き者生
Everybody
きる
you
べきは
kill
強
deserves
き
it.
者だ
Of course, by the rule of law, they deserve it because you killed someone, therefore you must, therefore they deserve it. Kind of works.
死すべきではないのに
Strong live.
死す者などいない
The weak die. Every person who falls to your blade does so because they're weaker than you.
それは武の競いに敗れたということそのものが善であれ悪であれ死ぬのは断りであり何らの理不尽もない
Whether good or evil, the weak are meant to die. That's the law of might.
違う死すべきは死をもってしか裁けぬ悪だけだ
Only the evil should die.
そして村正がその悪を裁けば罪なき者をも共
If
に
I
殺して
punish
しまう
evil, then good
善
dies
悪
too.
相殺の戒めによって
Yep, that's Muramasa's law of balance.
俺はそれが
It's wrong.
影焼き影焼き
Doesn't agree. She laughs, shaking her head, and I'm no longer worthy of her anger.
今のお前はまるで子供だ
It's like I'm talking to a
So-
child. It's so true.
ああそうか
You've learned nothing.
お前はとうとう理解できなかったのか
You know, I'd like to immediately reject this statement here, but I actually agree. It's like he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand or attempt to... He's arguing with someone, but he's not attempting to, reject their argument with anything other than a that's wrong. So it is like talking to a child, where you're like, what do you think about this? And you're like, they're like, you're wrong, fuck you. And you're like, couldn't you just, like, tell me why it's wrong? Like, if you ask someone a question of morality, and they tell you to, and you're like, I think this, what do you think? And they tell you, go fuck yourself, you're wrong, but don't give you an answer. It's kind of like talking to a small child who's rude and doesn't explain themselves. Seems like they learn nothing. I could get behind that statement.
善悪相殺村正が課すその4文字の意味をあくまで誤解したか
The law of balance, Kageyaki. That good and evil die together, it's right there in front of you, and yet you refuse to see it. And?
誤解
See? See what? It's just a curse. It's true.
呪いなどではない善悪相殺は 単
not
な
a
る
curse,
真実だ。
Kageyaki. It's the truth, the essence of might.
武というものの本質だ。村正はそれを白日のもとにさらしたに過ぎぬ。
You will need to elaborate on this in a meaningful way in order for this to make sense. All Muramasa does is present it in a form that no man can deny.
どういう
What are you
意
saying?
味だ
That is a very good question. What do
今
you
のお
think?
前には
You wouldn't
言ってもわ
understand?
かるまい。
I guess not. We'll have to read more of the story. After dismissing my question with a flick of her hand, Ginseigo lifts her face to the sky for a moment and turns her piercing gaze once more upon me.
だがこれだけは教えておこう。
I'll tell you this.
今
I'll tell you what you're really
お
doing.
前がしていることは何か。
I'm listening.
あの娘と二人合わせて正義。
You believe together you and the girl are a force for good? You're wrong. You're a force for your own ends, which you perceive to be good. As many people would agree. Regardless of how many people agree or disagree with you, that's probably what they would say. What she might say if it was, true.
戦い、
You're still killing the
殺し
same
て
as
いるだ
before.
けだ。
The only difference?
違うのは
The only difference. I know, I always know. To this I have no excuse. I told myself it would be better because now I'd not have to kill the good. I'd let that be the only thing that mattered, for otherwise I'd have to face the truth. The truth of my foulest sin, the only difference
殺すのがお前ではないということだ。
is that the blood isn't on your hands.
お
She's
前の
doing the
代わり
killing for
に
you.
あの狂犬が殺しているということだ。
You also only have to kill the people you want to kill instead of the people you don't want to kill. Which seems somewhat relevant, but we'll just skim past that for
お
now.
前は殺人を罪だと考えながら
You believe
その
killing's
罪
wrong, yet you've
正
preyed
義な
upon
ど
her
という
foul
誤
notion.
託のもとあの小娘に押し付けたのだ。
Okay. You've preyed upon her foul notions of justice to make her bear the sins you're not willing to commit? I'm not even sure how this is supposed to be an accusation. His magic armor compels him to murder people for no reason. Against his will, so he's like, someone else do it. As long as we're both in agreement, then we're all happy. I don't see what's wrong with this. He seems like, she's saying it like it's a big accusation. I know she's not supposed to be sane, but it's like, isn't the easy thing to be like, well, I don't want to kill the people. I don't want to kill these people, but Muramasa compels me to. Therefore, I choose to let someone else kill them, as, then my goal is accomplished without paying an additional cost. And Ginseigo just, thinks that's somehow insulting.
恥を知らぬか
Having no shame,
鍵焼き
Kageyaki? No, why would I about this? I don't get it.
Oh.
He's right every word. I allowed Ichijo to kill in my place. Watching as she slowly chips at her humanity, some part of me even felt relief that she and not I now carries the burden. I mean, why wouldn't you feel relief? I can totally understand that. Especially when you don't have to be terrified that you're gonna have to randomly kill the person beside you after killing the person in front of you for no reason. That seems like quite a burden, and one that I would feel relief from not having to deal with. I'm nothing but a coward, alright. I guess he just has really low self-esteem, so these attacks hurt him for some reason.
今のお前はくだらない。
You know, it used to be like this.
醜い。
Fear of
無
might's
の
law
聖
has
堂か
driven you
ら
from
あ
the
まりに
path.
遠い。運に怯え、運を手放した。ハマツさえ他人の分に甘え、勝利を恵んでもらおうとした。
Instead of embracing your might, you've turned your back on it. Worse, you sought refuge in the might of another, depending on her to carry you to victory.
これではダメだ。
You're
どうにも
hopeless.
なら
You
ぬ。
disgust me. What a coincidence. We don't share the same outlook. Therefore, we come to different conclusions from the same information. It's almost like people aren't all the same thing.
失敗だ。お前への共同は失敗した。
I can stand to look at you no longer.
Ginseigo!
Ginseigo, are you even gonna try and attack her? I know you'll probably lose.
どうやら甘やかしすぎたらしい。お前を思いやって不武を急がなかったのが裏目に出た。
All because I failed to show you the way, because I slowed the pace of my conquest in the hopes of bringing you around gently.
まさかこんなことにな
I
ると
coddled
は
you and this is the result? No more?
もはや猶予はせぬ。見ておれ影明。これより光は満天下に武を敷く。
Look well, Kageaki. The law of might shall purge all falsehood from this land.
あらゆる虚飾を捨て去った世界に佇み、今度こそ真理を悟るがよい。
When every lie has been vanquished and the truth laid bare, you'll see. Alright. Like a meteor blazing with silver fire, the conqueror vanishes over the horizon. I'm powerless to stop her or even stand. Whatever strength I once possessed has fled my shattered soul. It feels like he believes she's somehow right. All I can do is kneel and watch the end of the beginning. Or the beginning of the end. Alright, FMDM. I feel like I understood what she was saying, but it was like really easy to reject her.
おはようございます。
Her philosophy was like inherently insane and didn't really have a useful end goal. Other than killing everyone, and you're like, okay, you killed everyone. Now you starve to death. Society has no use for you, I guess. You can live in like... You can live on your own in some random ass... I'd say village, but I guess it's gonna be live on your own in some meadow, tending to crops your whole life because nothing else exists. It seems like a kind of shitty way to live your life, but alright. Like, that's an end goal. I guess if you like it, it's good, but if that's not your end goal in life, it doesn't seem valuable. Like, if you had literally one thing that other people could do that you valued, you'd immediately discard her law of might because it seems bad and lacking in utility. It's like, okay. It's like, let's us, our guy values family. Oh, well, law of might says no family. Well, okay, law of might doesn't give me the utility, the worldview I want to live by because it doesn't give me what I want in the end. Seems like a bad philosophy if most people disagree with the end result, but whatever. Alright, good morning. Good morning, random man.
おはよう。いい天気です
Nice
な。
weather we're having. 5 seconds later, Ginseigo attacks.
ええ、本当に。
Yeah, it's hard to believe. It's in the middle of... Oh, there we go. It's time to pose that eternal question, to be or not to be, we ask. So let's begin this comedy on the stage where mad laughter does ring. Here we go. Here we go.
こら、静かにしなさい。授業中ですよ。
Settle down, class. We still have a lot to learn.
なあ、今日はどこで遊ぶ？
Where do you want to hang out today? It's a random class.
タジマン家でいいじゃん。
Hachima's place. Where else?
先生、トイレ行きたいです。
Can I go to the bathroom? Ginseigo's worldwide campaign starting in Yamato. Alright.
またタジマン家？
Again?
こ
That's
こ
all
ん
we
とこ
ever
ずっ
do.
とだぜ。
お、やべえ、教科書忘れた。
Oh crap, I forgot my textbook.
でもあいつんち金持ちだしさ、おやつ出るじゃん。
Yeah, because his dad's loaded free snacks.
だけどさ、
Still.
せ
Really need to be-
もう。
Children, please. Thunder howls as the loyal dog sinks its teeth into the thief's soft flesh. In her warm nest, the chick calls for her mother, closed eyes blind to the slithering snake. On the wide savanna, the lion stalks its prey, golden mane puffed with pride. The stream burbles softly as frolicking children crush the frog's eggs under their bare feet.
Kora,
Yay, oranges! You've had enough. Leave
一
some
人
for
で
your
いくつも
brother.
食べないの。お父さんの分がなくなるでしょ。
いいっていいって。
That's alright.
お
I've
父
had
さ
my
んもう
fill.
いらないから。
またそうやって甘やかす。あなたもたまには厳しく言ってください。
You're spoiling her, dear. I could use some support every now and
い
then.
やでもな、
Not easy.
お母さんすぐ怒る。お父さん怒らない。
Daddy's never mad, not like mommy.
ほら、こんなこと言われてる。
And now I'm the villain. That happens.
お母さんはすぐ怒るか。
Does mommy get mad at you a lot?
うん。
She
あ
does.
なた、
Darling.
でもお母さんを嫌いになっちゃダメだぞ。お母さんはな、
You see, that's
お前
because
の
she
ことが
loves you.
大切だから怒ってるんだ。
If she didn't care, she wouldn't. Or lyrics. Ye who preach life's sacred meaning, heed the jester's heartfelt lies. You who fear death's cold embrace, know his mask is but a mirror painted black. Question life's purpose, and the jester and death shall lift a spoon. Embrace life's pleasures, and the jester and death shall doff their crowns. Run and dance, beast of the plain, laugh and sing, feast and fight. For now all chains and cages have crumbled to dust beneath your feet. Almost like we've read that a couple times. Ooh, look at that. The line of places she's hitting. She's going all around the Tokyo Bay area. I don't even have to click anything. It's auto-playing this. It's doing a nice ring of a section of the main island. Okay, the peninsula is getting cleaned up. What's the area of effect she has, anyway? Seems like it's fairly small. It's gonna take a long-ass time to cover the planet. That looks like a lot, but I need you to remember that that's like one peninsula on the largest island of Japan. I wonder how long this takes her. A day? I mean, that's an impressive amount of places to hit. Fuck! Nishijo's angry kick carves a divot in the ground. This is the 6th town. The 6th ruin we've come to, and the 6th time she's reacted thus. I suppose she's in no mood to cultivate a breadth of emotional expression. And neither am I. As always, I stare at the wreckage in silence. Ginseigo is true to her word. It hasn't even been a day since the demon took flight. Since I collected Ichijo and began the pursuit, and already the dead in southeast Kanto have grown to outnumber the living. I was right. Absent restraint, Ginseigo does have the power to surpass even the worst of nature's fury. I don't care to calculate how many days are left before all of Yamato is emptied of life. Now we have a clock. Or how many more after that it will take for the destruction to swallow the rest of the world, but I do know beyond any doubt these things will come to pass. Unless someone stops her. Where's Rokuhara? GHQ? What are those fuckers doing? Well, one of the Rokuhara members is supporting Ginseigo. I don't know what GHQ is planning. They're still looking for answers, I imagine? I doubt it will make any difference when they find them. They'll each be wondering first what the other plans. Neither wants to make the first move for fear of catching a knife in the back. Convenient that Ginseigo is attacking the only place where the military would do literally nothing. It's like, everywhere else they'd be like, we need to do something. In Yamato, the Rokuhara is like, not our problem to deal with massacred villages, that's what we do. That's our business. And GHQ just be like, well, we promised to stay out, so Rokuhara has to deal with it. Lazy assholes. Oh well. They're worried about that now? Of course. If anything, they'll see this as an opportunity. Clenches their fists as if wringing someone's neck. I decide not to ask whose. Useless sons of bitches. Not that I was gonna ask them for help. Looks like it's up to us, sir.
無論だ。あのような世にあだなす魔物。政宗が切らねば誰が切る。
As it should be, such rank evil. That's what Murasamune was forged to slay.
昨日は不意を打たれて不覚を取ったが、二度と醜態はさらさぬぞ。
We are unprepared for its tricks yesterday. This time, though, we shall not fail. Hi, Mito.
今度は絶対ぶった切ってやる。
Got that right, we'll cut that fucker in two! Experiencing Ginseigo's might firsthand did nothing to dampen Ichijo's spirit. She remains utterly devoted to justice. And if I join with her and we defeat Ginseigo together, I need not fear the price that Muramasa would demand. Only one evil will die. And only one pair of hands will be stained, Ichijo's hands, not mine. No one else need lose their life, not one whom I deem good. But is that right? Truly? This guy is a fucking dumbass. He actually is going through the arc where he believes killing everyone is the correct choice. I don't even know how it's difficult to say no. To be honest, if there's Tsurugi like Ginseigo in Japan, there's probably more around the world. True, Japan's not the only place with a legendary swordsmith. And they even had dwarves in this universe. Yeah, so in theory, there should be a bunch of apocalyptic Tsurugi just AFKing somewhere. I don't know if Ginseigo can take over the world. It might just mean someone else releases their own apocalyptic thing, which ends up fucking over the world. You know how it goes. Someone unleashes a doomsday device, someone unleashes their own doomsday device or doomsday device destroyer. And, yeah, an even bigger war. Wayland was said to have made Durandal? Yeah. Of course, of course. There's plenty of legendary swords which will be conveniently renamed into conveniently renamed as Tsurugi. So there's plenty of opportunities for another country's legendary sword to go fight Ginseigo. So our pursuit of Ginseigo has been a trying one. The enemy has the advantage in speed. We've flown in spurts, chasing the slender thread which only Muramasa can see, resting when our heat reserves are empty, and resuming flight when we can stand once more. Even this ruling pace has not brought us in sight of our target. How does Ginseigo keep traveling at high speed like this? It doesn't seem to make sense. Unless they have some sort of energy exchange, where if they use their insanity thing, they can slurpee up everyone's heat or calorie reserves or some bullshit. Since presumably everything's powered by calories, including just flying. Maybe she feeds from the power of the people who she kills? I assume that's what it is. Like, whoever you kill, you become stronger for it, at least, or get some energy back for it, or something like that. That seems like the most straightforward ability to have, which is why she always kills people by driving them insane. She's 24/7 in her Tsurugi. Yeah, she's 24/7 in her Tsurugi, continuously flying and spamming the shit out of her Shinichi, the mind-altering craziness. There's obviously going to be a downside somewhere. Either that, or the downside is that, like, either that or, like, it just fucking drains people's energy. So the downside is it takes a minute, but most people don't have mental resistance. The downside is that it takes forever to kill you and you have to actively do it yourself. And it can presumably be resisted by someone with a decent enough willpower. The problem is you're probably going to get killed by everyone else around you. And she drains energy from, like, you dying or from your mind or something. Who knows? Yep, this grueling pace hasn't brought us in sight of our target. Still, I'm certain we're drawing closer. A voice from above confirms my ascent. Ginseigo does have to stick around to drive you insane and make sure everyone's dead.
もうそろそろだと思う。
It won't be much longer.
そうか。
Understood. I keep my reply as low as I can. Ichijo is sleeping soundly beside me, and Masamune, though I don't see him, is surely close at hand. We've chosen for this latest interval a storage shed in a mountain temple. It was pure luck we spotted one that was abandoned, though I suspect that the roof would leak if it rained. Any shelter is better than none. Does this not remind you? Oh, this is probably the exact background that was the Amishi's house. Perhaps that's saying too much. Any number of villages nearby could have served. Now that they're deserted as well, but we decided it would not be restful to lie in bed. that reeked of blood. Yeah, a bed that reeks of blood. Sticky. Yeah, I wouldn't want to lay in that. Similarly, we couldn't seek refuge in one of the few towns that still harbors life. The confusion gripping these was obvious even from the air. Our landing wouldn't have helped matters. This temple was the only way to put a roof over our heads. I know I should take full advantage and sleep as Ichijo is, especially if this may be my last chance before flying into battle. But first I have a decision to make. He seriously needs to contemplate this. I hope he's just contemplating it to find an a reasonable refutation to her point and isn't seriously considering it. It would make sense if he's like, well, I didn't have an answer. I should spend a minute and think about this. So, Ginseigo, of course, says, you believe killing's wrong, yet you preyed upon her fool notions of justice to make her bear the sins you're not willing to commit. What I've done is unforgivable, and I don't mean Yusa Doshin or the Oyumi Ten. In the former case, I never intended for Ichijo to kill the general. In the latter, she was simply better positioned to act. But where Ginseigo is concerned, there could be no apology. To stop that monster is my duty, and yet I was willing to shift that burden to another because I feared to do what must be done. I was a coward, and I can't deny what was in my heart. Ginseigo had every right to condemn me. I must be the one to kill her. That sin is mine alone to bear. However, if I kill Ginseigo, someone else must die as well. Well, why not yourself? One innocent for one guilty, the price Muramasa's curse demands. I mean, has he ever considered just has he ever considered himself? He goes, how about I rethink things? I'm an innocent because I'm forced to kill people against my will by Muramasa. Therefore, if the innocent must die, it is me. Boom, curse dead, none of your friends died. Probably doesn't want that to happen, but if there's a chance he decides that if the law actually triggers and he doesn't just somehow bullshit his way into saying, well, if I'm gonna follow your rule of might, then I'll just kill you. You're neither good nor evil, you're just crazy as fuck. Because guess what? Crazy isn't evil, crazy is crazy. And thus you might not kill someone. Kageaki's beyond saving, he's a dumbass, yeah. Like, here's an easy solution. Ginseigo is crazy, and therefore not inherently evil, so killing her shouldn't trigger anything. Too bad we can't think about that. Or maybe we can, and we just haven't reached that point yet. We'll find out. One innocent for one guilty, the price Muramasa's curse demands. I've paid it before, not once but a dozen times, and in each of those cases there was no other way. Now there is. If I let Ichijo kill Ginseigo, then no one else will have to die. Ginseigo straight up told you that she didn't trigger the law of balance because she just thought she doesn't care whether people are good or evil. Maybe you should try to utilize that? Maybe my thoughts run in circles. Perhaps I should use Ichijo, accept that shame, but the shame derives from the knowledge of wrong. If I believe it's wrong to leave Ginseigo to another, then the answer is simple, make it right, kill good and evil both. That's not a good answer. How about you take the third proposition? Satisfy the law of balance. My mother's face flashes before my eyes, and I recall what she taught. No matter what happens, you must never take a life. My god, come on, man. There's more than kill everyone and kill nobody as a philosophy in life. And there it is, the reason for my present difficulty. I'm assuming that someone must kill Ginseigo, yet to kill anyone, even my enemy, is unequivocally wrong. Lorenz Helmshed, the guy had Helmetsmith as a last name in German. But you know Helmetsmith usually comes... Most last names originate from people's professions, right? Most classical last names are from, like, someone's actual profession. Right? So it's not like he just randomly had Helmetsmith. It's like that was the job of some ancestor who picked up that name. You could say he was made to be a famous blacksmith. Yeah, he's born into a smithing family. Exactly. Yeah, and there it is, the reason for my present difficulty. I'm assuming someone must kill Ginseigo, yet to kill anyone, even my enemy, is unequivocally wrong. I cannot find the right answer because no right answer exists, save one. Follow my mother's teaching. Stop Ginseigo without killing her. This guy is actually struggling with this proposition. Oh my god. I honestly don't get how Kageaki is struggling. Maybe it's because I don't believe in weird absolutist philosophies like this. Because he's like, killing people is always wrong. And I'm like, man, you can come up with a scenario in which doing fucking anything's probably okay if you make enough, if you provide enough absolute knowledge. Like, if you really wanted to, you could probably justify anything if you try hard enough with enough absolute information, you know? Like, you can invent a fictitious scenario under which most things are probably possible. Now, will that scenario come to pass? Probably not, but some of these are pretty easy. Like right now, you have Ginseigo, the psychotic killer, who thinks the only thing that matters is being the strongest, and anyone who's not stronger than her should die. You got a couple choices. You either ignore her and accept that she can do whatever she wants. You can try and stop her, and you can choose whether or not to stop her by killing her or stop her by incapacitating her. But if you incapacitate her, you need a way to make sure she's not able to do that again. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. And everyone else's. Or just delaying the deaths of all the people she wants to kill, right? Oh well. Yeah, most of this... Yeah, this guy doesn't think for himself. True, his ideas are recognizable, but I think that's more because he's a story character. A lot of times, characters in stories derive all of their philosophy from the people you've met, because the people you've met have that philosophy and explain it verbally to you. Much like Shiro. Or like Shiro, they got it from like one moment, one person doing one thing, and believed that was that was all they needed to know about philosophy. Again, the character's not like, the character espousing the philosophy are not necessarily supposed to be complete people. They're supposed to be like a straw man for their own argument. Kind of like when you're reading dialogues and you see like two people arguing in someone's book, and you're like, obviously this guy's the other one guy is basically a living avatar of the writer's opinion, and the other person is the straw man of whatever thing he's trying to tear down usually. So this guy's two options are basically the two people who have an opinion's options. And he seems torn because he's not sure of it. Another easy example of this, by the way, is what's a good one? I think like Aang's an alright example of this from Avatar, where everyone's like, you gotta kill Ozin. You gotta kill Ozin. And Aang's like, well, I guess I gotta kill Ozin, but that doesn't seem right for some reason. And he's like, not sure what he's supposed to do. Like, obviously, there's, like, alternative options you could come up with to deal with... Or, Ozai, right? It's Ozai. Fire Lord Ozai, I think it is? Yeah, because it's Sozin's comet. I was blending them together. It's like, clearly there are alternative options, but everyone thinks he should kill him. And he probably should, but... And especially if he doesn't think there's any other option available, but then he turns around and gets a plot device handed to him to solve his problem. So... do whatever he wants, like, that, sure, whatever. But I mean, theoretically, you could go to the place where, like, you could find a place where, like, you can't really firebend, or firebending is really hard, and do that. Because they basically made prisons for they made prisons for earthbenders and prisons for waterbenders. Surely they can make a prison for firebenders. It's possible. It's probably possible if you're creative enough, right? Then again, I also think social pressure should have made sure the guy died. But oh well. Unlike Kageaki, Aang actually tried to find a way to stay loyal to his belief. Kageaki, on the other hand, said some random shit. Said some random shit that isn't logical, and now he's conflicted. No, it's more like his mother. I think the way they explain it, they're trying to explain it, is his mother is the source of his belief not to kill people. It's just weirdly presented because it's like she just randomly told him to do it. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll never kill anyone ever. And you're like, excuse me, that makes no sense. The way it's presented is wrong, but the concept seems fine. Like, his mother is the source of his opinion that killing people is wrong, but he's killing people anyway, and he's not really sure how he's supposed to logically justify it. The weird thing is he hasn't thought about it. I would say it's weird he hasn't thought about it, but I presume that, like, he's been so busy he hasn't had time to think about this. Because this is relatively recent, and it's not like he's living the slow life. He's, like, living a pretty fast life, although I guess he's in prison for, like, half of this time, so maybe he should have spent some time thinking about this. It seems like his character hasn't spent any time thinking about whether or not it's right to kill someone since that day, like, 2 years ago when Ginseigo first made an appearance. I believe it would be possible, but, like, it seems unlikely. Only or possible, but Ginseigo's might is mythological in scale. I can't imagine the strength it would take to subdue her while also sparing her life. Could I persuade her then? With the right words and unrelenting passion, might I yet be able to change her course? I would certainly try, while all the while she slaughters her way across the breadth of Yamato. Ridiculous, there's only one way. This is like, this feels like an Aang moment where he's like, there must be a way, and then the plot vomits up a way for him to beat Ginseigo. Brings me back to the law of balance, as all my thoughts seem to do, or like, the plot will vomit it up in a little while. Depends on how the pacing is. I think Aang had the problem for a little while, and then a solution presented itself in the form of spirit bending shortly before his confrontation. Right? So, back to the law of balance, as all my thoughts seem to bring me. If not for that curse, I can't help but wonder how things might have been different. Not a curse, Kageaki, it's simply the truth. Ginseigo's words still linger in my ears. What did she mean? I realize all I can see is the floor. The weight of my brooding has bowed my head low. Shaking my head, I reach for the radio lying in the corner, and we picked it up in one of the empty villages we passed. The goal was to gather information, but now I just want a distraction. I flip the switch and start dialing through the frequencies. Static is bad, no surprise. We're in the hills, but a few signals are strong enough to make out. If Muramasa is this strong, how strong is Kusanagi and Excalibur? I don't want to know. Actually, wait, wasn't the name of the golden guy like a knockoff Excalibur? What was the name of the golden-haired GHQ guys? I'm pretty sure they pulled up. I wonder if I can find that if I Google it. Demon Muramasa golden-haired GHQ guy Tsurugi name. I assume this will not give me results. Protagonist, main characters. I want side characters. Yeah, we ain't getting those. Let's see, characters. GHQ, here we go. What's this guy's name? Garget? Here we go. His crux is Ascalon. Oh, his crux is Ascalon. My bad. His crux is Ascalon. I thought it was, I knew it was something I recognized. Okay. Yeah, it's not Erendite. It's not Erendite. Nope. No, if it wasn't I didn't think it was Arthurian, so I was trying to think of what it was. So it's George's sword? Yes, St. George's sword. Or I don't know if it was the actual one. Is it hold up. Oh, I already closed the page. Too late. Okay. I was gonna say I didn't think it was the actual Ascalon though. He was using like a mass-produced version of Ascalon. It was probably named after it, but isn't the real thing. Like they maybe templated the it was Ascalon 3 or something, so they probably templated it on Ascalon. And so like we'd have a rough idea of what Ascalon looks like, vaguely. Like it would be reminiscent of what it looks like, I assume. But yeah, there's certainly going to be some fantastic tsurugi out there, assuming they still exist. But for our purposes, at the very least, these ones exist. Masamune, a couple Muramasas. And that's all we know. Yeah, Kusanagi would be crazy OP. Might have just been broken or died at some point, or maybe just lost. Maybe Kusanagi, for all we know, is that one that was buried in the hill in the village, okay? We got its arm, but that's it. It got dismantled, and that's all they had. They even said it was a copy of Ascalon. Yeah, I was pretty sure it wasn't the real thing. I was like, oh, okay, he's like Lieutenant with a decent copy. That was my impression. Especially because he died so fast. Then again, you never know. You never know. Sometimes people just want to hype up their own country's shit super hard, you know? That's why we have Tomatomo. The archer who beats every archer in existence at the same time from halfway around the world. In Fate, you know? It's like he can do that, so maybe they just wanted to suck off Muramasa a little bit. Who knows? I mean, I could go back and check, but I'm not going to go back and check right now. So I flip the switch and start dialing through the frequencies. Back to this radio. The static is bad. We're in the hills, but a few signals are strong enough to make out. I know I already read that, but I need to know where I am. Therefore, the Queen's army is resolved to bring a swift end to the crisis and restore peace and order. The Shogunate warns that any interference will be viewed as an act of war. This is domestic matter. The situation is under control. Receiving word that the fire seen at Kenchochi Temple was the result of an attack by Shogunate forces, and yet His Highness the Prince, our hero's whereabouts remain unknown. This was a mistake. Instead of silencing my doubts, I've nurtured them like giving water to a field choked with weeds. Chaos is everywhere, the silver death raging across the land, and here I am, unable to make a decision as my last chance to stop it approaches. It's fine. You have basically forever. My consciousness rises from darkness. I must have fallen asleep. Oh, good evening. How long was I out? I can't quite be sure. Seized by terror, I open my eyes. This is a dream, my friend. What? Why am I?
港君、どうした？
What's wrong, kiddo?
部長
Sir? My boss, but he died.
ああ、先輩ひどい。いくら起き抜けにはきっつい顔だからって、そんな露骨に驚いちゃかわいそうです。
It's rude to stare, even if his face is the last you'd ever want to wake up to. Ooh, rice cakes. That sounds good. Now he's
ひ
being
どい
rude.
のはお前だ。単に寝ぼけただけだろ、彼は。
Can't you see he's had a bad dream? I actually haven't bought rice cakes in ages. I used to buy rice cakes as a snack. Get some ones that are like, I think garlic flavored? Yeah, it's some good shit. Maybe I should buy some of those if I see them again. I think Quaker makes them. Yes, a bad dream. Why is everyone being so nice though? A dream? I was dreaming? No, this is the dream. That nightmare, that's reality. Wait, what nightmare? Where was I? I can't remember.
どうも相当疲れてるみたいだな。
Hey, you seem really out of it, kid.
No.
Sorry, I must have
Yeah.
fallen asleep.
もう本当に
I don't know what
寝
came
ぼ
over
けて
me.
いたようです。
It was touch and go there for a moment, but my brain finally reconnected with reality. This is the office where I work, and judging by the light outside, I must have fallen asleep in the middle of the day. And a deep sleep, too. It seems like years since I last saw this place.
まあ仕方ないさ。家の方いろいろ大変なんだろう。
Don't worry about it.
今日はあまり仕事もないし。
I know
もう
things
上
are
がっ
rough
て
at
くれて
home.
いいぞ。
Look, we're not busy today. Why don't you take off early?
いや、しかし。
I couldn't.
暇な時に無理されて、忙しい時に倒れられるとこっちが困る。
Look, think of it as saving up for when we are busy. We can't have you passing out then.
先輩、サラリーマンは体
He's
が
right,
資
you
本
know.
体調管理も仕事のうちです。
Staying well rested is part of the job.
そうだな。
True?
だから私の昼寝も仕事のうちなのですよ。今
That's why I
明
make
か
sure
さ
to
れ
nap
る
at
衝
work
撃
every
の
day.
真
I try the best.
こんな社員がいても回るんだよ、うちの会社。
If she can't bring us
だから
down,
気にす
we'll
る
be
な。
fine.
はい。
Thanks, sir. I make my way down the road. The sun is a little higher in the sky than I'm used to, but everything's familiar to me. Familiar sights, familiar sounds. It's my home. My hometown. The place the same as ever, peaceful, quiet, except for, yeah, one small problem. The army of bandits camped out on top of the hill. The manor is my home. Not the home of my birth, but the home that welcomed me, took me in. My family's here, my mother, my bedridden sister. They're more precious to me than anything.
おや、今日は早いね。
Well, you're awfully early.
おかえり、影焼。
Hey there, son.
はい。
Good
ただ
evening,
今帰りました。スバル様。
mother. There's nothing to fear here. This peace, this comfort will surely last forever. I'm certain of it. So why then do I know that my hopes will be betrayed? Almost like we've seen it happen before. Just now I experienced what can only be described as a leap of consciousness. Is this the past, the future? Time, it seems, is out of sync. I have to... No time for that. Look at what's happening right in front of you. A musha is poised to strike at my mother, who lies sprawled on the floor in a daze. The musha is a bandit. My mother's in danger. I have to save her. How? But I'm just a man. I have no power to challenge a musha. Is there nothing I can do? Must I stand by and watch as my mother is slaughtered? No, I do have the power. Somehow I know it's there if I want it. All I have to do is... I feel it. Incredible power, the steel at my fingers, the vessel of pure might. A tsurugi, this is what I need. Power to equal, surpass any foe. And yet somehow this too I know. This tsurugi is a thing to be feared. All you have to do is be as good as Joan and cut this tsurugi down without using Muramasa. We've seen that he can do it, and he can even cut down Muramasa without wearing power armor. If I answer its call and don its armor, I'll never know peace again. That's all I know. Okay.
何をもたもたしている。我が主よ。
Why are you standing there, Mito? Can't you see your mother needs help?
制限を発し、この政宗をまとい。
Masamune is ready. Speak
母
the
の
oath.
危機であろう。
Right. Masamune? Was that my Tsurugi's name? It was, wasn't it?
急ぐのだ、ミド。制限を。
The oath, Mito, hurry!
制限。
The oath? Yes, there's no time. I have to save my mother.
鬼に王手を。
Where there's
鬼
demons,
は
I slay them.
仏に王手を。
Where there are saints,
仏を。
wait, these words. The law of balance. No, that law is a curse, so I speak it.
はい、何を血迷っておる。そんな妄言を誰が教えた。
What madness has taken hold of you? I never taught you such nonsense. What?
何。政宗は正義を貫徹する力。
Masamune is the
切
blade
る
of
べきは
justice.
鬼。立つべきは悪。
We slay demons and smite the wicked.
滅ぼすべきは邪悪のみ。それを誓うのだ。
Only evil dies this day. Speak the oath. Only evil? Is that right? This guy's just sitting there actually believing he should kill people he believes shouldn't die. Oh my goodness.
はよ
Speak it!
世に鬼あれば鬼を断つ
Where there are demons, I slay them. Where there's
世に
evil, I
悪
smite
あれ
it.
ば悪を断つ剣の断りここに
Mine is the way of the sword.
疑問符は余計だが了承した
I'll ignore that question mark at the end.
港影焼の刃足らん
To battle, Mito. I'm your blade.
さあ共に悪鬼を打とうぞ
Now teach that demon the taste of justice. Power fills my body, strength enough to vanish all the beasts of earth and sea. More wondrous still, the might is righteous, its purity like a balm to my soul. This power exists solely to punish the wicked, to crush the strong, who in their pride make victims of the weak. It's justice in its truest form.
いかにも行け
Now, Mito, strike!
おう
A demon's before me. This musha, this bandit's threatened my mother. And now he stares at me as though he can't believe what he sees. Fool. You thought yourself the only one with power, but you were wrong. Now pay the price for your arrogance. Evil will always fall before good. The musha's blade descends to claim my mother's life, but I'm faster. I lift my sword and... There I meet my mother's eyes. Wait, is this supposed to be a question? It's like, strike or wait. I'm debating whether or not waiting just lets her die or parries it. I don't like this choice. Not because I don't like making the choice, but because I don't know if wait or strike is a parry. If wait is a parry or just watch her die because you, like, need some weird false dichotomy. Right? It's like there's two choices. You got this weird false dichotomy, or you got it's like is this a false dichotomy, or is there like some friggin', or is there any space for nuance in this weird ass dream we're having? It also might just not matter. I may as well save. Why not? It's not like I've actually gone back to any of those, or ever will. But I'm curious what waiting does, so I guess I'll take waiting, and if it somehow gives me like some game over or some BS, we'll be good. Wait, what is she trying to... You mustn't kill anyone, not a single person you hear, not for any reason. Let's just watch our mother die. See how well her philosophy holds up. I remember my mom's most solemn teaching. One must never take a life. Alright. Then what am I supposed to do? Is there any way, save by killing the musha, to ensure my mother survives? Cut his hands off. He's a musha. He'll live. Cut his hands off, cauterize the wounds. If he doesn't die of shock, he might live? You're in a super powerful Tsurugi, just like bash him and move on? There is. So there is an option. Alright. How? Okay, so we have use the flat of my sword, deflect his attack, or talk him down. Talking him down doesn't seem to work because he's actively attacking. Deflect. I've already begun my strike to change course and intercept my enemy's sword. Do I truly have the skill? I don't. Well. No. Our mother died. Oh no. My mom's dead because I hesitated and let doubt control me. I could have saved her. I have the power, but I stood by and watched as an innocent died. Oh no. Despair takes me and I sink into darkness. But oh thank goodness. It's only a dream. When I wake, I'll be back in that temple shed, everything the same as before. Everything the same. And then this despair is only a taste of what's to come. For when the moment arrives, I know what'll happen. We'll chicken out and fail to kill Ginseigo. I'll stand there and shackled by doubt and watch, just as I did in the dream. Game over, you've fallen. Ah, it is a game over. I assume anything other than strike will be a game over. We'll do a few more. Let's see. I was curious if that would lead to the game over, because it seems to be, it seems to suggest that. Alright, let's go again. Let's have some fun. I'm gonna test the wait route and see what happens. What is she trying to? Don't kill anyone. There is. I assume anything under there is will fail. Use the flat of my sword. This will fail. Oh no, the enemy shrugs off my blow and cleaves my mom in two. Getting all the bad endings. Getting all the bad endings. I'm curious if it's waiting, if it's the... I assume, because of the way it phrased the game over screen, that anything that branches from wait will be death, but I'm curious if that's actually true. So I'm going to try every branch. Not because I'm a dumbass and don't understand that it wants me to strike, but more because I'm curious as to what options it's going to give me, and if it will branch any further. There's always an option. Let's try talking him down. He's already mid-attack. Surely this will work, right? Stop! My enemy doesn't stop. Oh, she's dead. Let's see if I can use control to skip through this. It doesn't look like it. Okay, it doesn't look like it. It might also count as a new scene, I'm not quite sure. Despair takes me, blah 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 blah. I'll stand there and watch, racked by doubt. Yep. No funny Shiro deaths. I know. That was a nice feature of Stay Night. I really like Stay Night because it would roast the shit out of you for dying. Or at least comment on your deaths in a funny way. I don't mind that it's not there, since it's like the only VN that does that. You either get roasted or they just talked about your deaths and explain what you did wrong. No Taiga dojos. Yeah, it's not standard. Alright. Okay, is there a way? There isn't. We just concretely proved it. So, I have to kill him, right? The delay might have killed her anyway. That's the only way. The only way! I haven't the skill to deflect his strike, and without my strength and steel behind it, no attack of mine will penetrate his armor. What other choice is there? To talk him down? Nonsense. As if I had hours to spare. I have to take his life. So be it, I'll kill this man. And my mother's words, I'll forsake once and for all, or carry with me always. Why would I forget my mother's words, even if they're wrong? I try to remember that. I mean, I disagree, but perhaps it does have some truth behind it. Sure, carry with me.
もしもお前が死んだら、私はお前を死なせた奴を全員殺す。一人も許さない。
If you get killed out there, I'll murder every last person who had a hand in your death, and I won't let a single one live. Count on it.
お前が誰かを殺したらさ、その人の身内が同じように誓うかもしれないんだよ。
You kill someone who's to say their friends or family won't make the same promise? Those words were truth. If I kill this musha here, then someone somewhere will curse my name. They'll call me evil and hate me forever. I take this truth between my teeth. I bite down harder, letting its bitter taste kiss my tongue. My jaw cracks, my teeth shatter, but my weapon, that I hold to its course. I have a reason to kill. That reason is my own, my personal justice, and for the good of my cause, I'll brand this man evil, and for that evil, I'll take his life. Someone somewhere will curse my name, because to them my enemy was good. Thus by killing for good, I become evil. For to kill a man is always to destroy one evil and one good. The law of balance. Is that immutable law? By burning my soul like a brand, I look the enemy in the eye and complete the killing blow. That is complete nonsense, Kageaki, but okay. It's done. I look to my feet where the nameless bandit's corpse lies. It's not a bandit. The man isn't even a musha. I can't remember his name. It has no meaning in this place. But I remember who he was. I remember why I killed him. I remember who stood at his side. Girl clings to the slain man's corpse, his daughter. She loved him. This I remember, though her name was... it was lost. She looks at me with sullen eyes, and I see her hate there, bright and new. Why, she asks, and I tell her the answer. It's not enough, she shouts, nor should it be. She tells me of the man she knew, of how his love lit her life, and how bereft she is without him. She tells me of his good, which I ended with his evil. And for that crime, her justice condemns me, and somehow she survived getting blown out of her own mech.
許さない
Monster. Her spittle flecked with blood, the girl proclaims undying hate.
許さない許さない許さない
Monster, you killed him, you killed my dad. It's precisely what I deserve. My sin can never be redeemed. I killed a man, ended his life, because his dreams, his love, his good were all worth less than what I called just. Didn't he literally kill someone like 2 seconds ago and was like seconds away from killing everyone in town, and this guy's like, it was evil to stop him. Alright. Alright, buddy. That's the work of a demon, okay. High above, lit by the moon, a man proclaims me worthless scum. You're nothing, he sneers, neither a hero nor a demon. A demon kills with joy, a hero kills with pride. I who kill with self-loathing and sorrow are neither, just a regular man who never should have taken up the sword. He's wrong, my feelings aren't important. Whether he laughs with joy or howls in disgust, a man who kills for himself is a demon. The man who kills for a cause is no different. Heroes, soldiers, warriors of every sort are demons too. All who kill are demons.
そうだよ。あの時てめえはそう言ったんだ。
Alright. This time I don't object to his scorn, for indeed this truth is one I reached myself once before. How could I have let myself forget? How could I have believed even for a moment that killing could ever not be wrong? As Ginseigo said, I convinced myself that killing the guilty was different from killing the innocent. Having realized my folly, I began to see what happened, that years ago, without even knowing, I formed an image of absolute evil and with it, absolute good. The former, of course, was birthed here. My great eternal sin, my mother's blood on my hands. He was the first, but not the last. I killed many, believing them good. Alright. In my mind, it was evil, clear, and absolute. Absolute good, therefore, would be its opposite.
港影明
Creating life? Is
私はあん
inherently
たを
good?
許さない
If ending life is inherently bad, then creating life is inherently good? Interesting choice. Interesting opinion. You deserve to die, Minato Kageaki. And?
あんたを殺す
And I'm the one who's gonna kill you? Ayana Ichijo judged my crimes, pronounced my guilt, and sentenced me to death. A fair verdict, without mercy, and in that moment I realize now she became for me the ultimate good. In her, my evil had no refuge. She wouldn't grant me a reprieve for good behavior. No circumstances would mitigate my guilt. It was perfect, flawless, absolute justice, precisely what my evil deserved. Even now, what I felt then has not changed. By killing my mother, I committed unspeakable evil, and to punish me for that is unquestionably just. Alright. The difference is now that I realize there's more to the story than that. It doesn't end when an evil act is punished. Consider the prosecutor, the judge, the executioner. Consider the one who is all three. Does this person, in delivering justice to the wicked, not themselves incur a weight of sin? Why should acting in the pursuit of justice excuse their crime? Alright. I'm back in that dusty temple shed. All of that was just a dream. Welcome back. Just a dream. My lips twist briefly. If I didn't know better, I might be tempted to believe the Buddha of this place sent it as a guidance. But no, the path it showed was one no Buddha would ever condone. Perhaps I should look to a demon instead.
ミド、
Ito?
起きたの？
Are you up?
お
Yeah, how
ど
long
れ
was
く
I
らい
out?
眠っていた？
ほんの数分だけれど、多少は疲れが取れたってこともなさそう
Only
ね。
a few minutes. It doesn't look like it did you much good.
だろうな。
Nah. My body and spirit are no lighter than before. If anything, the weight's grown. The weight of my crimes, which I relived in the halls of the dream. Therefore, I welcome it. It will ensure I never forget the evil I've done in service of my goal. The goal that remains to this moment unfulfilled. I must see it through, because to me this path was worth more than the lives I took. For the moment that first corpse marked my feet with blood, I was doomed to walk it to the end. Only when the dead return to life, only then can I turn back.
村正。行くぞ。
Take me to Ginseigo.
え？
Ready?
まだ寝てるけど、その娘。
The girl's still sleeping.
いい。
Yeah, let her.
ミド？
Mito? Mito?
一条は置いてゆく。
We're leaving her here. As I have my path, Ichijo has hers. We can no longer walk them together. The truth is, we never could. It was my weakness, my delusions that allowed us to accept one another for a time. And now those delusions are gone. I'm Muramasa. She's Masamune. There's no reconciling our ways.
それでいいの？
Are you sure?
私たちが銀星号を
If
殺
we
せば
kill Ginseigo, then after that,
ミド。
俺が良いと思う
we'll
の
have to
は
kill someone else. Someone I
尊いと
deem good.
思うもの。綾音一条をも
Ayane
殺すことになる。
Ichijo.
ええ。
Yeah.
恐ろしいな。
A sickening crime, an act of pure evil.
おぞましいな。だが、
But then it's true no matter who I
人
kill.
を殺すということ
Kageaki.
常にこういうことなのだな。
Oh my goodness. I think he's kind of a. I know visual novel protagonists gotta be dumb sometimes, but he's somehow believing that kill everybody who's weaker than you and kill nobody are the only two philosophies in the world, and I'm utterly baffled how he thinks that's true. The dream sequence in the temple. That's where it's just a strange thought to be like, ah, yes. Well, my mom said kill nobody, and my sister says kill everybody. Therefore, the only thing in life I could ever do is one of these two things. It's easily talked. It's kind of funny. He's not just like, maybe there's a reasonable amount, but you know, that would be fence sitting. Honestly, maybe the author just hates fence sitting. I'm joking, by the way. I don't really mind it too much, but I mean, I've been on the internet and people fucking hate enlightened centrists who think that there's probably a reasonable case behind most things people say, instead of thinking people are absolutely evil. You know what? I'm gonna say that's actually kind of funny, because I see that online all the time. I know we're in a, at least in English, or like English-speaking internet, we're in a wonderful place where the American Republicans are actually just it's steadily being revealed they have like more and more extreme viewpoints that you could probably say are evil from some perspective. But I feel like dialogue is getting very, very black and white these days between both sides of the fence, at least in America and elsewhere, thanks to America's influence, where it's like everyone who disagrees with me is evil. And it's kind of funny to be sitting here reading a novel where the protagonist basically thinks that there's no such thing as a fence and that you have to be good or evil 100%. Like, I think it's just funny, right? Like if you go into any political dialogue with anybody right now, people are really, really, really polarized. Like, if you disagree with someone, you're a fucking Nazi. You don't deserve to live. It's really weird. Like 10 years ago, I could have said some really spicy takes that I don't even believe, and people would just like they'd either disagree or say I'm a fucking dumbass, and then they'd move on. Yeah, I kind of like this guy's false belief in black and white. It's kind of funny. He only believes in kill everyone or kill nobody, or thinks all killing is evil, or no, or you should all killing is either all killing is evil, therefore you should kill if you want to, or like no killings. It seems like a weird false dichotomy where he's being presented with the options that there's only two truths: either killing is never bad or all killing is bad, and he's forced to like pick one of those. And the reality is he doesn't have to. And why it's funny, of course, like I said, is because it feels like the political dialogue on both sides of the aisle right now is just ramping up into extremism, at least from individuals on the internet. I'm not going to talk about crazy shit Republicans are doing these days, but it's so funny to see this where you have this guy's like, you have to either be absolutely on this side or absolutely on this other, and if you're not, you can't exist, you have to pick one. It's like, no. In terms of whether or not killing people is good, there is probably a reasonable threshold in which it is not, but this character is not feeling like there's a choice, and his people around him are presenting it like it's not a choice. Either it's fine to do it either it's fine or it's not fine, and he just can't decide. It's kind of fun because it just makes me think of modern politics and the escalating dialogue and distaste for the other side. Even if some of that's slightly deserved, it's still funny because it echoes like real life, where people propose there should be no centrism, only good and evil, and I'm like, I don't think real life actually reflects that. And this character is probably experiencing the same issue, where it's like his mom is like, killing is always wrong, no exceptions, and you're like, is that you, a real person, think, is that true? But Kagieki is a character, and he's not capable of thinking of a new idea or like an in-between idea. He just thinks of this left and right choice, and doesn't think he can make his own path right now. I just like that. It feels relevant, if in a somewhat abstract way. Okay, but then it's true. No matter who I kill, I finally see it. Finally,
お前だけが特別なのではない。
you didn't create this for
村正は
Muramasa.
真実を拡張しているに過ぎない。
You only made it as plain as could be, so that I, your master, would never forget it.
その醜悪さから逃避させないために。
Where's Sorimachi? I have no clue. He might be dead. He might just show up randomly. Be fine at the end. Who knows?
悪を殺さば。返す刃で善をも断つ。
The law of balance. By killing one evil, you must also always kill one good. So, in this choice, possibly based on our decisions, he hasn't arrived at the conclusion that there could be a third path, and currently believes all killing is equal, and thus there can be no moral victory when fighting someone. Okay. So presently it seems like he's falling on the kill side.
それはあまねく武器。すべての
It's a
刃が背負う呪
But
い
it's
だ。
one every weapon bears, just as every life is both
Nothing.
good and evil.
一つの命は善と悪を共に宿す。
Okay.
誰かの敵は誰
My
かの
enemy is
味
someone's
方。
friend. The man I hate,
誰か
someone
の
else
悪は
loves.
誰かの善。
Thus for every life which ends beneath a blade, one good and one evil must die.
必ず善と悪はもろともに断たれている。
Okay. In that case, there is no such thing as good and evil. Based on his argument, there should be no such thing as good and evil, right? If any good action is evil to someone else, then there's no good and no evil, and thus no one else has to die when you kill someone because while they're evil to you, they're good to someone else. Perhaps just themselves is all that matters. I wonder if he can come to that conclusion. Which is also why it's probably not a great idea to say all good and all evil is relative, which is what he said. Like, okay, all good is relative, all evil is relative. Okay, I see okay. If you want to acknowledge that, then there is no such thing as good and evil because every good action is also evil. And there's no point making a distinction, so I guess he can come to that conclusion. not a particularly constructive conclusion, as it also means it also might bring into question your ability to make a value judgment on what's good or bad. And by good, I mean useful for you, because you can't determine that. A lack of determination of moral right and wrong, or value judgments makes it pretty hard to make any decisions in life, but alright. I guess that's how Ginseigo arrived at the kill everyone ending, right? As she can't really judge the value of a life if ending them is neither good nor bad. Right? If every action is both good and bad, then you can't make a judgment as to whether or not any action you take is either good or bad. So you may as well take whatever action. You may as well take any action, and that action is inherently fine. It's a choice. Okay. There's no exceptions. There's no way to kill evil without killing good. Thus, surely every weapon may bear the name of Muramasa. Mido. To kill an enemy, you must be willing to kill the friend at your side. If you're not, then you must not kill because you don't know what it means. Alright. A man who tries to circumvent the law is a coward who wishes to spare himself the pain of losing someone good. There's only one way to spare the good, and that's to lay down your sword. All lives are equal, they must be. See only your enemy's evil and blind yourself to his good. Of course, of course. All lives are equal, they must be. Only see your enemy's evil and blind yourself to his good. I mean, if you actually arrived at the conclusion, all lives are equal, then you would say, I don't have the right to take more than one life, right? In which case I'd ask you, how does your right override 20 lives or 10,000 lives? In the case of Ginseigo killing everyone, please explain. All lives are equal, therefore the weight of your life should be equal to the weight of one other person's life, and no more. Correct? Anything else would be taking yourself out of balance? As you've determined more than that. As your weight must be your weight, you would be doing more than your weight. Alright. Interesting. Only your enemy's evil blind yourself is good. It's willful ignorance, the worst kind of cowardice. Meant to correct you from the horror of the act. I suppose there's some element of truth in this and the last statement where he said to see only your enemy's evil and blind yourself is good. Yeah. Of course. That's why that's why you have to make a value judgment. You have to make a value judgment when considering killing someone, right? You have to ask yourself if the potential good they've done would outweigh the potential harm caused by killing them, right? Isn't that like super straightforward? That's how you make any value judgment. You evaluate the potential good or the potential harm, the good or bad from doing something, and then make a decision. Right. Whenever you take a life, no matter who they are, you have to be prepared to kill good as well as evil. It's the law. I mean, I guess so. If you want to propose that everyone has inherent good in them, and thus, if everyone has some element of good in them, regardless of how evil you see they are, that works. I don't think I would ever say that anyone is like actually pure evil. That is a concept that doesn't exist in real life. Like, you literally couldn't name a person who actually is actually like 900% pure evil. Like, they presumably have some element of good to them. Like, Hitler's married, right? He has a kid. Presumably the kid likes him or like some of the things he brought them. You know, he might have brought them joy. Might have brought his wife joy. Clearly there's some good in that. theoretically a family man. You know, theoretically a family man. I have no clue how good his family life was. But presumably they didn't. I'm going to assume they didn't hate him and think he's the worst thing in existence. And there's no. And, you know, theoretically his family could have done some good. So. There we go. Like, pretty obvious way to find some good in it. He brought a new life into the world that could have been a force for good. Alright. Good guy. Yeah, like, it's easy. Easy to say that. A sword kills, it makes no distinction between good and evil. A sword's an object, it can't make moral judgments. Therefore, Ichijo, this is where we part ways. Never again will I believe that one who kills is right. Must betray you after all. Come, we're going to kill Ginseigo. Not because it's right, it's foul. Murder is any other. Even so, I choose to stop her. Muramasa? Mito? Lend me your power. Yes, master. Yours. Sasagemasu? Sasagemasu, the formal form of Sasageo. Interesting. Got that one. Whether demons I slay them, whether saints I slay them. Mine's the way of the sword. That awkward moment when Ginseigo is more than a stamina bar's worth of travel away. Legend tells of two smiths, Muramasa and Masamune. The two masters studied their craft together, yet while alike in skill, they were opposed in temperament. One day their teacher bade them forge a sword and stand those two swords in a river. Muramasa's sword cut every leaf that floated past. Masamune's sword spared them. The supreme blade, their teacher said, only cuts what it must. Thus it was Masamune's sword, not Muramasa's, which passed the test that day. This is a legend, and legends may at times speak the truth. And with that in mind, which of these smiths truly understood the way of the sword?
Mito.
Mito? Kageaki?
今はお前に用はない。
Be gone, I have no business with you. But I have business with you, Ginseigo. Yamato has suffered this nightmare long enough. It ends tonight. Does it now?
あの狂犬が見当たらぬようだが。
Have you misplaced your pet? I left her behind.
なぜだ
Why? Because it makes no difference whether she kills you or I do. Alright. You're right, Ginseigo. All might obeys the law of balance. There's no escaping it for anyone. At last you've awakened.
猛年から覚めたようだな、影明。
I wonder if Ichijo will show up in time. Time to find out.
では
Yep.
戯れ
Let's
合おう。
dance, my darling
可愛い
Kageaki.
影明。この指で慈しみながらいざなってやるぞ。
My loving touch shall lead
手
you
の極
higher
み
and higher
高き果て。天下万民を皆殺し。
to the
世
pinnacle of
界への
might.
完全勝利をもって神の座へ登らん。
The world shall burn, mankind will perish, and I, victorious, shall mount heaven's throne. Where did we come to that conclusion? There will be no throne, Ginseigo. Heaven's no place for you. You woke me from my madness, and now I'll do the same. Alright. Curious if we just end up getting wrecked because we didn't bring Ichijo, or she shows up at the last minute, or what happens. Let's see.
今日ここで
The dream is steeped
俺
in
がお
blood
前
and
を
death.
地へ落とす。
No more. My sword shall see you to hell.
吠えたな影焼我が道を断つと誓うか
Bold words, Kageaki. So you're here to end my dream?
ならば手心は加えまい銀の星と呼ばれし光の力
Today you
そ
face
の
the
聖
true
水を
power
見せてくれる
of the Silver Star.
冥府へ転げ落ちぬよう命をしかと掴んでおけ
Resist with all your might now, lest you see hell before me. I go for it. Ichijo would just be like, hello?
やっべ寝過ごした日
Should've
が暮れてるし
How long was I out?
起こしてよ港
Why didn't you wake me, Minato?
さんあれ港さん
Sir? He's gone?
いない村正も
That was Muramasa?
まさか
Oh no, he wouldn't.
そんな嘘
We don't have our Nodachi pieces yet. It seems weird to be having what could be a final confrontation with that. So I'm thinking it's not over yet. I'd be quite surprised if we didn't get the last pieces of our sword before then. To defeat Ginseigo, I must first understand her. What's the nature of my enemy's power? First, there's the psychic pollution, the power to warp minds. Although that's by far the greatest threat to the world, it's not relevant here. The power I must contend with that's made the Silver Star invincible in combat is that of graviton control. Ordinarily, a musha's power of flight derives from two factors: engines, which provide thrust, and wings, which provide lift. Expressed to their fullest, these allow musha to achieve speeds unrivaled by other human inventions. As no tank, ship, or aerial fortress can match his speed, a musha has the absolute power to decide the terms of a given engagement. And as that speed also translates through sword, lance, or spear directly into destructive force, no common defense can resist a musha's strike. Speed, therefore, is the primary reason that musha are superior to all other tools of war. And in the same way, speed's the reason Ginseigo is supreme among musha. Unlike the near total majority of musha who must work with, and against, the air to achieve their legendary speed, Ginseigo treats the air as little more than an auxiliary stabilizer. She can ignore it entirely, should she so choose, and even fly in total vacuum. This is because the force which buoys Ginseigo's gossamer wings is not aerodynamic lift, but gravity, the universal attractor, one of the four fundamental forces that shape the natural world. Through Muramasa II's mystical power, Ginseigo bends this force to her will. She can strengthen it, weaken it, negate it entirely. She can adjust its vectors as she pleases. In practice, it means her speed and agility outstrip the fastest musha by several orders of magnitude. Take the present situation. Don't you control the fundamental force as well?
足を切り崩す覚悟ならもう一通りもできるけど
Altitude 1300, we can climb higher if you're willing to sacrifice speed.
単価を切って挑戦した挙句に失速して追試では冗談としてできすぎだな。ここで無理はいらん。
That's not after those boasts I made. The last thing I want is to stall out and crash.
鉄器の到達高度
Give me Ginseigo's altitude.
推定
Estimating.
約12000
12,000. She's 10 times higher than us. Are you sure?
誤差はどの程度だ。
What's the margin of error?
加減1500くらいよ
Plus or minus 1,500. Just a standard deviation of, for us, underground 2 miles up.
やけに低い。
They're awfully low.
お弓で会った時からだけれど墓様の翼に賭けがある
Back in Oyumi, it looked like a piece of Mother's right wing was missing.
賭け
Missing?
ほんのわずかどこかの戦いで手を負ったのかもしれないそれが
Tiny
墓
piece.
様の能力を弱めているとしたら
They might have taken damage somewhere, but Mother's power depends upon her wings. So this damage might explain how less than a minute into the fight we're disadvantaged merely by a factor of 10.
しかしそんな小さな傷ならす
If
ぐ
the
に修
damage is
復が
that
できそ
small,
う
why
なも
haven't
の
they
だ。
repaired it?
精巧な機関だから難しいのかもそれにどんな剣にだって得て増えてがある
It's harder when the part is delicate, plus every Tsurugi has its shortcomings. Oh. Ginseigo is terrible at self-repair.
カカ様は機動力にしても攻撃力にしても無敵に近いけれど、鋼
Mother's
鉄強
power
化
and
と
speed
再
are
生能力は
unmatched,
その
but
分
she
犠牲にされ
sacrificed
ている。
durability and
決して高
healing
く
to
ない。
achieve that.
完璧ではないのよ。
They're not all powerful, Mito.
お
Right, good to remember.
そうか
The real glass
そう
cannon.
だ
I'm still looking at a 10-run deficit in the bottom of the 9th, but if it can stave off Despair's sweet embrace long enough to do my job, then even a slim hope is worth clinging to. Our enemy has a 10-to-1 altitude advantage. Now I must consider what that means. I swear to God, if he says she's hitting 10 times as hard as he is because she's 10 times above him, I'm gonna be so... I'll be so disappointed. Please don't. In aerial combat, the musha with the altitude advantage has gravity on her side. The Earth's pull adds to her momentum and therefore her power. For her opponent, the reverse is true. Gravity acts against him, diminishing his power. The degree to which height plays a role in this way is determined by the angle of engagement relative to the ground. The closer to 90 degrees, absolute vertical, the greater the benefit altitude provides. At present, the engagement is nearly vertical, 89 degrees, give or take. A promising start. I expected 89.9. I'll pretend I'm unfamiliar with the proverb about emptying the ocean with a thimble. In any case, the angle is nearly vertical and I must fight against gravity's full pull while Ginseigo can turn it to her advantage. An advantage which her power will amplify greatly. Momentum equals mass times velocity. How much momentum will an object of Ginseigo's mass acquire, accelerating with such power from well above the stratosphere? I abandoned my calculations shortly after determining that even 20 of me stacked vertically wouldn't absorb the energy of the blow. Not because I don't care to see the number grow, but because it simply doesn't matter. An attack needs only enough force to penetrate the target's armor. Any more than that's wasted. There's little practical difference, after all, between opening your enemy's throat and scattering his atoms to the wind. The question is therefore whether I will have the force to accomplish even the former. But to that, I need not be concerned. The energy of an impact is shared. Oh, he finally brought that up like 10 chapters into the story. Ginseigo and Muramasa. Why is this the first time he brings this up, like it never existed before? If Ginseigo's strike carries sufficient force, then so too will my counter. We'll each possess the energy required to kill the other. Ginseigo's damage is B plus A, Muramasa's damage is A plus B. Yeah, obviously, that's why I was so confused when they're like, it helps deal damage. I'm like, maybe the speed and recovery and like hitting people before they recover. You know, your maneuverability stuff. The damage for an impact should be like this. Oh, not to say we're equal. There's a reason altitude is vitally important in musha combat, which is that we are not simply smashing into each other like balls fired from an opposing cannon. A musha, when they attack, transmit energy to their arms and legs and through them to his weapon. Every part of this process, every motion is helped or hindered by gravity's effects. The musha with the altitude is able to transfer more energy to their weapon and may also strike with greater precision. For attack, in other words, is less likely to fail. Yeah, probably. For her opponent, the opposite holds. Honestly, though, the amount of force from gravity and speed here massively outweighs most of what you can do. To say this gap is significant in aero combat where one's senses and reflexes are strained to the limit would be grossly understating the issue. In summary, even if our energy is equal, our ability to use it effectively is not. Nor can I hope to defeat her attack by meeting it head-on with my own. There, even her advantage would be more pronounced. She would smash my strike aside and land hers without issue to unilaterally devastating effect. How fast are you going that you can actually parry and then attack if you're going straight down from the stratosphere and accelerating the whole time? Alright. The above factors are now working against me to the greatest degree possible. As always, when I face off with Ginseigo, my enemy is free to strike as she pleases while I must grapple with distance and timing just to have the slimmest hope of landing my attack. Even before our techniques come into play, I'm already at a severe disadvantage. And as for those techniques, I already know which my opponent will use. The one she calls Ladybug Comet, a nod, I suppose, to the name men have given her. This technique, adapted from Yoshino Onryu, Tsukikake has been my downfall in all of our previous engagements. The Yoshino Onryu Cannon Tsukikake is a technique where, striking from the high ground, you apply a forward roll to your strike, thereby increasing its power and disorienting the opponent. Through her unique abilities, Ginseigo has transformed the technique into something out of myth. She begins by ascending to near orbital altitudes, then dives vertically upon her enemy using amplified gravity to accelerate her fall. At the last moment before impact, a fragment of time best measured in nanoseconds, she snaps a forward roll into a heel kick that could shatter a mountain. This sort of technique, which swordsmen call maken, an art which no other warrior can perform, if Ginseigo uses a kick instead of a sword, makes little difference. The attack is still cataclysmic in impact, a fact to which I can personally attest. That's quite the axe kick. Although I have to wonder how Ginseigo's own leg doesn't shatter from the force. Magic.
条理に沿えばその通りね。おそらくカカ様は鋼鉄を一時的に右脚へ集積させてい
Oh,
る
about
んだ
that.
と
I'm
思う。
pretty sure they concentrate armor at the leg before impact.
そんな真似が可能なのか。
But you can do that?
妊娠制御の応用で。
Probably with gravity. Using gravity to redistribute mass? It doesn't matter. I don't need to understand the facts in order to accept them. The facts are Ginseigo can use her power freely, and that against it, Muramasa's mighty armor may as well be made of paper. And to my enemy's inhuman might, do I have an answer? Yes, any number of answers, in theory. When speaking of a technique's effectiveness in battle, it's always assumed the target does not know what's coming. If he does, if he knows precisely how you'll attack, then there should be no reason he shouldn't be able to perform a lethal counter. Take Tsukikake, feint and strike in a single motion, the pinnacle of Yoshino swordsmanship. Against an enemy who expects it, however, it's nothing but a circus act. No one's gonna hang there and watch as you finish your little somersault. Ginseigo's version has the same fundamental weakness. All I have to do is wait until she begins her turn, then dive under it and clip her with my sword in passing. If I do this, victory's mine, guaranteed. My enemy has no conceivable escape. Thus, where technique is concerned, the advantage is entirely mine. And yet every time I face Ginseigo, it's ended in my defeat. The why is quite plain. Just as you can't eat a bowl of rice drawn on canvas, you can't win with a plan that's impossible to execute. There's no time. When she makes her dive accelerating from the stratosphere, she crosses that distance far faster than a human can perceive. Our first encounter, she struck me down before I could react. At our second, I resolved to attack the moment her roll began. She struck me before I could react. At our third, I was ready to make my move the instant she entered my sight, and she struck me down before I could react. In every instance, the outcome was the same. When you see her, it's already too late. Well, you have a rough estimate, so just swing away and hope you hit. Or the legendary strategy that would absolutely blow her mind. Stick your sword out in front of you. just think about it. Think about it. She's just flying right at you, ready to kick. Stick your sword out in front of you. Try get a hit on her. It seems so easy. I know it's like impossible, but if she's gonna land on you from above, sword out. Just wait for it to happen or get a spear. Then you really outrange her. I know he'd probably still lose, but it's kind of funny to be like, has he ever considered that? Or how about enchant? I guess he probably doesn't have the range to polarize her armor to make it him and her repel. Such as Ginseigo's speed, enough raw uncaring might to shatter my flawless theory of battle into a million shards and me with it. It doesn't matter what I know, what she'll do if I can't know when she'll do it. Okay, here's a plan. Magnetize the earth. Magnetize yourself and give yourself a polarity opposite the air below you to send yourself flying faster real quick. A burst of speed, either sideways or forward in air or upwards in air might be enough to disrupt her timing. Unlikely, but it's possible. I don't know, I'm just throwing shit out there. Therein, I suppose, lies the limit of technique. The sword is not for fighting meteors. My enemy has surpassed human limits. If I hope to defeat her anyway, then so too must I.
Muramasa. 敵機が降下を開始したら即座に知らせろ。
Muramasa, let me know the instant she starts or dies.
了解。
Right. Tsurugi's radar can see further than any human eyes. When the attack begins, Muramasa will perceive it in a fraction of a second the amount of time it takes her to signal. Her signals will reach the target in return, but I know, as I'm certain does Muramasa, it won't be enough. Not nearly. Any time lag, even a fraction of a second, will surely be our undoing. In order to win, we must perceive her attack the exact moment it begins. It's still too slow. We must perceive when her attack will begin before it started. The only way to catch an object moving at the speed of light is to reach from outside time. It's known as taking sen, or in Yoshino Onryu, seeing without seeing. It depends not on supernatural faculty, but on one's ability to observe and analyze the target. Instead of actions, one must look for signs: the dilating pupil, the twitching muscle, any sign that your opponent's about to attack. Having detected such a sign, one then strikes ideally strikes first, defeating the enemy before her attacks truly begun. And against Ginseigo, the ideal response is impossible. There's no way to preempt an attack that begins kilometers overhead. But while I can't hope to strike first, I can hope to strike at the same time. If I know when she'll attack, even a nanosecond before it happens, I can put my sword in her path and that will be enough. It might kill us both, but it'll be enough. I focus on my enemy. At this distance, even with my enhanced vision, she appears as no more than a speck against the sky. I can't see the shift of her eyes or the twitch of her muscles, but there's other ways to know her. Clues so small as to beg her belief. Like, what about the height she normally goes to? The heat of her skin, the scent of her flesh, the pulse of her beating heart from this distance? Deeper, I must sense her energy, her wavelength, her presence. I must know that life is there. And indeed I grasp it, that elusive key, though it is not so elusive here. I don't attribute this to any great power of perception, but instead to that energy's vastness reaching out to swallow the sky. Ginseigo is here, the presence declares, the conquering titan, the scourge of mankind. As wind precedes a storm's arrival, or tremors herald the coming of eruption, it's a message none can deny. To call this life would be stretching that word to include the most destructive forces of nature. It's difficult to sense anything beyond her presence. Its sheer force drowns out everything else. And at that moment, I only know she's there. But it's a start. If I extend my feeble physical senses, if I send them clawing up that presence like a ladder, can I reach her? Their shapeless fingers grasp only air. These senses won't serve me here. I need something else, something... Her breath, boy. Feel her breath. I don't mean the sound it makes or the way her chest rises and falls. They lie. She can use them to trick you. But the skin, that never lies. That's what you have to feel. Her skin through yours. As long as there's air between you, your skin and hers are joined. Use that connection. Feel her breath, and it will tell you if she plans to attack or defend. And if she plans to attack, then when. Breath is the mirror of intent. Pretty cool, right? You don't get to be my age without learning a thing or two. Feel her breath. In all my many battles against many opponents, I've never once accomplished this masterful feat. But against this opponent, against Hikaru, perhaps. Feel her breath. Her breath. I have it! It's there, slow and soft, like a dreaming sigh. It means she's still gathering her power. I still have time before she attacks. Mother was right. Even at this distance, my skin and hers are joined. It's the tiniest thread, but now I have it. It'll tell me everything. Everything from that? Alright. It's like the size of a... Okay, it's a bit larger than a fly on my monitor, but still. This is Ginseigo, her breath, her intent. I recognize it like a memory, faded but not forgotten. Of course I know it. Of course I do. For a year, this was my world. Every day I listened, hoping and praying. There we go. Size of a speck of dirt. I banish the image. I have no use for what it brings. Ginseigo's my enemy and nothing more. I focus my senses on the wavelength I found, straining to detect the slightest vibration. When it comes, that'll be the sign. If I act in that moment, victory will be mine. I wait. And wait. Nothing. Still quiet. It's not yet time. Not yet, but soon. And when it comes, I will not fail. F.
Falling down, ladybug.
It's Ladybug Comet in English, but it's clearly Falling Down Ladybug in Japanese. And that's kind of funny. Falling Down Ladybug. It gets me, I'm sorry. Falling down, ladybug. Let's do that again.
Falling down, ladybug.
Oh, it's such a simple name. Tell me the tales that to me were so dear. Once I was happy. Long, long ago. Long, long ago. Sing me the songs I delighted to hear. Or once I had everything. Long, long, long ago. Did I fail? I think so. Now you are calm, all my grief is removed. I had family, my mother, my sister. Let me forget that so long you have roved. I had bonds that no hardship could sever. Let me believe you love as you loved. I had love. Oh yes, I had love. Long, long ago. Long ago. No, Kageaki, that's not what you need. It won't let you reach me. Complete me. Forget those trappings and unleash your true might. In this moment you need only desire. Your will to embrace me, nothing more. You're close. Rid yourself of this final weakness. And at last, I'll know the touch of your hands. At last, your heart will accept me. Do you remember the path where we met? I remember it fondly. Long, long ago. Long, long ago. Yes, you told me you'd never forget the peace, the tranquility. Long, long ago. Long ago. And then to all others, my smile you preferred. I had my family. What more could I want? What happened? How did I fail? I had her breath, her intent, didn't I? And yet I sensed nothing before she attacked. Not a ripple, not even a shiver. Was it all in my head? Did I only think I felt her when in truth I felt nothing at all? If not, if I did touch her mind, if I succeeded and it was meaningless, can it be? Has Ginseigo, my sister, the demon I must slay, truly reached that height? To strike without intent? Musha, the absence of thought? I can't say. I know only that my hands have grasped nothing. And that your sister might have grasped ultimate instinct? Nothing save ash. Love, when you spoke, gave a charm to each word. Everything was beautiful. Still my heart treasures the praises I heard because I had love. Long, long ago, long ago. I see, that's what ails you. The fantasy, that lie. Well, you don't like it? Even now it holds you back. Ow, that's mean. Though by your kindness my fond hopes were raised, there was endless affection. Long, long ago, long ago. I'm fading, drifting in and out of dream. The boundaries between past and present fall and crumble to dust. I know what this means. Death, defeat, everything lost. But what can I do? My last best hope failed. My strength, my oaths, my resolve all worthless. What else is there? What else but to surrender to the warmth of this last dream? You by more eloquent lips have been praised. There was warmth beyond measure. Long ago, long, long ago. The warmth was never real, brother. Don't you see? Mayakashi? I didn't think I was reading Higurashi, but here we are. It was incomplete. Missing the piece. It needed to be whole. Time to forsake warmth and comfort. You did so once before, remember? Your hands, my will. We did it together, Kageaki. We ended the lie once and for all. The day we killed my mother. By long absence, your truth has been tried. I thought it would last forever. Still to your accents I listen with pride. I thought it would never change. Blessed as I was when I sat by your side. Such was the depth of my contentment. I mean, tried, pride, side all rhyme. That's kind of nice. Praised, praised. They're doing some nice rhyme. I'm not sure what the brackets are for, though. Since it's like, okay, I get the main part, but I don't know what's in parentheses. It's like it's running its own meter. It's running its own meter and its own line. But the line is disruptive to the main line, which makes it really hard to follow this as a poem. Right? So they're not using dialogue. They're intending me to read this as a poem. But by my long absence, your truth has been tried. And then they want me to read I thought it would last forever. But it doesn't really work. Because it seems to be like a refrain, like a background vocal or refrain for song lyrics. And it doesn't feel like it works in written form. Because, like, but by your long absence, your truth has been tried. Still to your accents, I listen with pride. This works. It rhymes. Same cadence. Like, it works. And it tells a story. But there seems to be a second one being told in the parentheses. And it makes it really hard to follow, because you have to follow two stories at the same time. I don't quite like the way they write this. It's like, we've read like a few stanzas of this poem, right? And I don't even know what the poem is about, because I read this one, and then I read this one, and I basically, by the time I'm three lines in, like 3 groups of the same main line, I don't remember what the first one was, because it seems so disconnected to have to switch your brain to a different train of thought, and like follow a second one. I don't really like the way they wrote this. Like this poetry thing. I wish they would just give me the goddamn poem so I could read the poem in a single chunk, or, you know, a few, because obviously you can't have it all in one page. And then I could actually, like, think about the poem and how it reflects what he's thinking, or what he's doing, or even just, like, enjoy the poem itself. It's really hard to enjoy this poem. I don't like it. Because it doesn't... I can't remember it. I can't remember how the poem's going. Especially when they show only one line at a time, so you have to like memorize the poem. Like I have to memorize 2 halves of 2 poems at the same time, and then follow them both concurrently. It's not a great way to write poetry. Long ago, just now, in the space between worlds, I thought that I heard something terrible. What did you say? I made it happen. Her death was my will.
2年前、Muramasa を解き放つ前から俺はすでに知っていた。
Years ago, when I freed Muramasa, I already knew its nature.
この剣が何を求めるのか。
I knew what price
こ
its
の
power
刃で
demanded.
殺せばどうなるのか。敵の命に味方の命であがな
Friend
い。
for an enemy, one good for one evil.
一つの悪に一つの善であがないの。
I mean, that's presumably why she doesn't kill anyone, right?
憎しみには
A beloved for a
愛のあが
despised.
ないの。
I knew from the beginning.
だから俺は
That's why I let that
山賊の
musha
大将を
go.
あえて殺さなかった。生かして
That's why I drove him
港
toward our
の
home.
屋敷へ追い立てた。お前に村正の力を使わせ、
It was so you'd have no choice but to use Muramasa to kill him.
村正の樹海に縛られたお前が
And in accordance with the law,
母
kill my
親を
mother
切
as
り捨
well.
てるように
Mm-hmm. Hikaru.
二人で殺したのだ。俺とお前で殺したのだ。あの恩敵を。
He's the
あの空
Kageaki.
想な家を。
We did it together. Together we killed my greatest foe and shattered the empty world forever.
あれはもうどこにもない。
They're nothing now, brother.
虚構にふさわしく消えて失せた。
As lies are meant to be, forget
遠い
them and
過
forget
去の
her.
幻だ。 忘れてしま
I'm
う。
your future. Look only at me.
お前はこの光だけをまっすぐに見据えていればよい。
Hikaru?
お前が愛した母はいない。もうどこにも。
You loved her, I know, but she's
それで
gone.
も諦められぬというなら、
If you still have need of a mother, I'll take her
お前の
place.
母になってやる。だからお前はここへ
Come to me,
来い。
Kageaki.
お前が行くべきは
You
こ
have
こし
nowhere
か
else
な
to
い。
go.
この光の下だけだ。
Nowhere save for the circle of my
お
arms.
前を受け入れられるものは光だけなのだ。
I alone will
Kageaki.
embrace you now. Kageaki. Hikaru. Long ago, but now it's distant, far, far away, far beyond the reach of my hands.
光
Hikaru. He's tilted. But it's just murder. All lives have the same value, my friend. Thought we just covered that. Man can't even stick to his own belief system. It's okay. He's trying to find a way. Hopefully he'll find a third path. Not that Muramasa wants him to. Oh, my man's... The level of the music is rising. There's some tension here. There's some fun. There's some potential. My man's ready to go. He's pissed. The world contracts. Everything shunted into one of two categories. Those which have meaning and those which do not. The former contains my enemy above. The latter, everything else. Everything human falls away. The pieces of Minato Kageaki trailing behind me like fire. Data is sorted and discarded. My thoughts shaved bare. Intelligence regresses. I don't need it. Morality, reason, these go too. Just what you were looking for?
来るか、
At last.
輝き。
Come, Kageaki. And thus my mind achieves perfect order. One purpose, kill. One question, how? How to guarantee my enemy's destruction. Ginseigo strikes from extreme high altitude with a speed that no other musha can match. What will allow me to overcome such transcendent power? Technique? Do I predict her attack to the most minute detail, extrapolate from that a flawless counter, and then wait, observing, assessing her breath, adapting as necessary until the moment comes? Expend the greatest effort to realize the greatest chance of success? Will that bring me victory? Acting rationally brings me nothing, as I proved moments ago. Technique is worthless, art is wasted, theory is and logic a waste of time. When a tiger decides you're its next meal, you don't attempt to negotiate. Only force can stop a creature, and force is what I need. Superior might. Which is to say, superior speed. Speed, yes. Speed's everything. It's the source of my enemy's strength. It allows her to attack at the moment of her choosing, to strike me down without taking damage in return. If I can surpass her speed, that advantage will be mine, and I'll strike at the moment I choose, taking not a scratch in so doing. More speed. I know where to find it.
Muramasa!
Muramasa. Matsuri doesn't reply, but I know she hears. She awaits my command, ready to answer with her last remaining strength.
Enchant plus
Enchant plus!
Linear Axel!
Linear Excel. Magnetic fields surge through my armor like an opposed, attracting, repelling, bestowing upon my every notion the maximum possible efficiency. A million minute operations per second, but Muramasa performs them flawlessly. And thus I climb my angle near vertical, my speed rises rapidly in defiance of the Earth's pull. It's not enough, not nearly enough to match her. I need more speed, more power.
Gravity Axel!
Gravity Excel. Alright. A new power gathers, raging and howling, a storm, a mighty flood. Gravity, Ginseigo's power, which we acquired through Muramasa's the fragments of Muramasa's Nodachi. I used it before, but it's far stronger now, and this power was never meant for our use. Like a wild horse, it bucks our control, striving to dash us against the hard ground. We have no bridle or reins to rely on, nevertheless we bring it to heel. We seize its mane and through brute force turn it to face a single heading. Let it run and rage, I only need one thing from it. Speed. I feel a sensation of breaking through a wall. The world falls away behind us. We've worn out our welcome, I can almost hear it say, and we're left to streak alone through the void. But not alone. One other is here in this place where only the fastest may fly. Yes.
来い。
That's
輝
it.
き。
Kageaki.
あと一歩だ。
Just a little more, a
あと
little
一
more.
歩で。お前は光に届くぞ。
One more step and you'll reach me. One more step, that's all I
い
need.
かにする。
How
あ
will you
と
do it?
1枚の差をどう埋める？
How will you bridge the final gap?
すでに手は尽く
Is
し
that
た。
all? Have you nothing left?
そこまでなのか、影明。ならば、
And I'm afraid this is the end for you.
今度もまた。お前はメネンを飲んで地に落ちようぞ。
Once more, dust and defeat shall be your only reward. When the moment comes, I understand nothing. Only after it's passed do I begin to grasp what happened. My enemy strikes, holding nothing back, and somehow my body responds. I don't know how this could be. My senses once again failed to register her approach. Perhaps by some unholy coincidence, my single-minded pursuit of speed unlocked something else entirely. Perhaps not. I only know in that moment my body finds the answer.
やはり、そう来るか。
Of course, your only chance.
烈光の太刀筋。磁力反発を利してなす神速の抜刀。
EI propelled by magnetic repulsion, a blade that can cleave even light.
そればかりは光の目をもってしても見えぬ。
And that strike alone,
かわすも防ぐもな
I
るま
cannot
い。
perceive. It's beyond my power to evade or deflect.
だが、
However,
太刀を繰り出すお前自身は見えている。惜しいぞ、影明。思考の剣は鞘から放たれるだけの間がなくば、生倉同等の価値しか持たん。
even your blade is worthless if I give you no time to draw it. Good plan. Indeed, Ginseigo's eyes speak truth. Though I possess an attack which she cannot withstand, it means nothing if she destroys me before I unleash it. My enemy has me firmly in her sights. She'll know precisely when my strike is coming. Strike first and be victorious. Most warriors could not dream of accomplishing this feat, but Ginseigo is not most warriors, and to this, I have no counter. Ginseigo remains beyond my ability to perceive. Though I may draw my sword, it will not reach her once her attack has begun. As she said, my sword is worthless. But this my body knows. My sword is useless. Technique is useless. Force. Force alone is the answer. Speed alone can bring the demon down. I'm almost there. Just a little more, a little faster, and I can shake the demon's gaze. Perhaps only for a moment, but it will be enough. I must go faster, but how? How? Like this. Does she realize in the moment what's coming? Perhaps with awesome godlike instincts she sees my plan in full. Or she must, for in that moment she acts. Without wasted breath, she begins her attack, striking for empty sky, where she knows I'll meet her. But my sheath is already charged. A storm of power crackling and sparking fills my armor to bursting. And with all the fear of that storm behind it, my blade takes flight.
影明！
There we go. Though it should not be possible, where the air hangs shredded and still, just before the end I seem to hear Hikaru's voice. A real voice, which she would not use unless she had nowhere to transmit Kinchojo. And how is it I know I've succeeded? That's how I know I've succeeded. Hikaru lost me entirely. My armor still shines crimson, but my enemy's in my enemy's sight, but I'm no longer there. Did we surpass the speed of light? Or did we just fire ourselves like a missile? Discarding my arm. Yeah. With my armor the sheath and my body the blade, my final railgun shatters the sky. I've become light. A brilliant darkness surrounds me in all directions. I can see nothing, not even Ginseigo. I'm blind, the same as her. So he accelerated to the speed of light? Okay. I don't need to see. I know where she is. Overhead, diving towards me with all her fury. Then my course is clear. I go to meet her. Fist clenched tight, a single piece of Muramasa's armor still cold around it. Holding hard around it. My fist will surely find its mark. All he does is just put all the armor around his arm. Alright. Even if, though through her transcendent might, Ginseigo has predicted my approach. At the moment of our meeting, she completes her turn. Her armor will shift to bolster her strike, leaving the rest of her defenseless. The squeal of armor, the crunch of bone, and the give of weak, pliable flesh. Savage. We fucking collided. I don't know if we're dead or not. But we went fucking fast, boys. Every sensation, every loathsome detail I store deep in the cranks of my brain. This is what I fought for. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it, but still I chose it. I chose this end. And so I must never forget. This is how it felt to crush my sister's heart. She's still talking after they collided at that speed. God damn. Flimsy my ass.
楽しかった。
What fun. Let's
またどこかで
do it again sometime.
会おう。鍵焼き。
Kage. I land upon the beach once more in my armor. Ginseigo crashed into the sea.
最後確認する？
You want to make sure?
いや、
No. There's no need, however, there's no time. My heart is blessedly numb for the moment, but that will not survive certainty. Knowing will destroy me.
見ろ。
大事ない。
It's nothing. The force of Ginseigo's attack still lingers in the marrow of my bones, and my heat reserves are near empty. Still, I can't permit myself to collapse. This 2 years long nightmare has ended, but my body, like my heart, still has work to do. That'll make the world better, right? I let her question that night go unanswered, but I made a promise to help her, to support her, to give her all she requires. With every dram of strength I still possess, I must deliver my reply. When she appears at my back, her breath is ragged, and I can almost hear the beat of her heart. She must have pushed herself to the limit to reach me. For the moment she is silent, but her silence speaks louder than any words can. It roasts me like a too near flame. She already knows what I've done. So be it, I'll answer the question she spoke while drifting to sleep in my arms.
一条、
Ichijo.
悪しき者へのお前の怒りは正しい。悪しき者へのお前の憎悪は正しい。
You are right to hate evil, to hate demons and their
お
works.
前は正しい。
That is
だ
justice.
が、お前の戦いは
But your fight, in that there is
決
no
して正
justice.
しくはない。
Of course, there's no such thing as justice for him.
何ですか？
What are you saying?
それ。
My turn. Armor hides her face, but it's no challenge to imagine her expression. The tremors in her voice can only come from deep within.
わかんないですよ。
I don't understand.
どういうつもりなんです
Why
か？
did you?
銀星号を。
俺が倒さねばならなかっ
Because I had to. I had to.
た。他の誰でもなく、俺が銀星号をただの怪物、
If someone else had done it,
ただ
someone who
の
knew
悪
her
魔
only
と
as
し
a
てしか知
demon,
らない者が倒せば、
it would have been an act of
その
justice,
戦いは正義となる。
the triumph of good over evil.
戦いの正義が信じられる。
No one would doubt that killing her was
戦
right.
いの真実が忘
Proof
れ
of
ら
the
れる。
act would be forgotten.
だから
Had to be someone who knew her,
真実を知る者、
who knew that she too was
あ
human.
の銀星号も人間だったことを
Who knew she too was love.
知る者こそが倒さねばならなかった。
The only way to ensure the weight of her death is felt as it should be.
俺にしかできないことだったの
You
だ。
see, there's no one else.
わからないですよ。何を言ってるのか。
I don't see it.
全然。
Doesn't make any sense. Her voice raises in pitch, gaining
な
momentum.
んで？どうして？
Why? If you kill someone evil,
港さんが
did he finally
村正が
transcend?
敵を殺せば。
Didn't he just? I mean, I'm not entirely clear because Kageaki's not clear. But in this line where he says, if someone who knew her only as a demon, it would become an act of justice, the triumph of good over evil. When he says that, it seems like he's transcended good and evil, so it may not mean he has to kill anyone. Let's see. Or is he gonna say, I'm an evil person, and thus it's an evil person triumphing over evil? And I don't fucking get what his logic will be there. You kill someone evil,
味方をも殺す。
and I also kill someone good?
それが分かってて。
Why?
常にそうだ。 戦いの結果は
Because it's true no matter who does the killing. Yeah, sure. What?
戦いはいつも正義と正義の殴り合いだ。せいぜいが社会通念上の正当性に近いか遠いかくらいの違いしかない。
Every battle is a clash of opposing ideas of justice. Perhaps one idea is more widely shared, but that's all.
戦う者は皆自分の正義を信じ、敵の悪を信じる。
Every warrior believes his
そう
cause
しな
good
く
and
て
his
は
enemy
殺
is
し合え
evil.
ないから。
Else he would not be able to kill.
例外は戦いそのものを思考する人間くらいだろう。
If there's an exception, it's only those whose purpose is battle itself.
ならば戦いの結果はいつも同じだ。善悪相殺。
Every battle therefore has the same outcome. The victor destroys what to him is evil, and with it his enemy is good. This is the law of balance, the truth which Muramasa's curse embodies.
村正の呪いそのものだ。
Therefore, I draw my sword and level it at Ichijo's chest.
誰かと戦い殺そうとする者はその意味を正しく知るべきだ。
Anyone who would claim the life of another must first
敵は
understand
悪でありながら善
what
で
that
もあり、
means. That your enemy is also
俺
someone
は
else's
それを
friend.
もろともに滅ぼすのだと。
Your hate is balanced by someone else's love, and thus you must randomly kill your allies. I understand. It makes no sense. The competent thing would be to come to the conclusion that the thing I understand from this is to come to the conclusion that there is no good nor evil, and thus just people being killed. Which makes sense to me. I can understand that, but I don't understand how that follows into Muramasa's law of balance. If you kill someone, you have to kill someone you dislike, you have to kill someone you like. Surely this means he's reached the point where he can understand that Ginseigo is just someone who fights and is neither good nor bad, explicitly as he stated. But it seems like he hasn't reached that point yet. I'm kind of lost at that. Like he's spouting virtues he doesn't himself possess, or he's claiming to understand or believe in things that he doesn't believe. Kind of weird. All right.
すなわち己の味方、己の正義をも滅ぼす覚悟のない者、
Thus, you mustn't kill unless you
敵を
yourself are
殺
prepared
して
to
は
lose
な
a
らないの
friend.
だ。
Put your own good on the line as well.
もしも覚悟なくそうするなら、
To kill a man lacking
それ
this
は度
resolve,
しがたい卑怯なのだ。
it's the worst kind of cowardice.
いわんや正義を潰しておきながら正義を称するなど論外の極みだ。
But even worse than that is to kill a man, destroy his justice, and claim justice was yours alone.
港さん
Okay.
俺はそう承知した上で
And that's why I killed Ginseigo.
銀星号を倒した。
Ichijo says nothing, but I'm sure my words have reached her. Her silence is the opposite of cold. Masamune speaks first.
ミド、分かっていいよな。
Do you see, Mito?
つまり、奴は恩義を裏切ったのだ。
He's turned against you and profanes our
そし
justice.
て我らの正義を貶
Well, I
め
guess
ている。
Ichijo should dive on Muramasa's sword. Alright. He's turned against you and profanes our justice.
言うた通りの死にとな
As
っ
I
たな。
said, a demon is always a
所
demon.
詮、悪鬼は悪鬼よ。
Her charge is sloppy, her strike crude. Muramasa's armor deflects them easily. We just beat someone by traveling at light speed. We can probably beat Masamune.
刃筋を立てて、しかと狙
Beat
え。
your blade properly and strike with intent.
お前が俺を切るなら、それでもいい。
Kill me, Ichijo, if that's your will. He should have reached the point where he doesn't have to fight anyone, right? He doesn't have to kill anyone?
お前の正義に、俺の答えを返すことが、
I had a duty to answer your
俺に
question.
残された最後の役
A
割だ。
final duty and now it's done?
俺はお前の正義を認めている。その俺を切れ。
So kill me, but know as you do that I believe in you, and I believe you're right.
俺をお前の正義だと思って切れ。戦いの矛盾と醜さを知れ。
See in me your justice, your idea of good is you drive your blade through my flesh, and know thereby the horror and folly intent in any battle, or inherent in any battle.
あなたは
Why are you?
俺の言うことは酷か。
Is it cruel what I'm asking of
お
you?
そらくそう
Perhaps.
だろう。 だがお前はすでに手を血で汚している。闘争の真実を知る義務からは逃れない。
Your hands are already stained with blood. I won't let you turn your back on the truth of what you've done.
違う。あなたは間違ってる。
I have a question. What about people who know what they're doing is inherently wrong? Or are doing... Is that their justice? Is that their justice? If you're doing something simply because you can? I'm not quite sure if that follows as your justice. Alright, well, you're wrong.
あなたの言う通りなら
You're saying it's true?
この世に
There is
正
no
義なんて
justice
ない
anywhere?
ことになる。
Oh, there probably... Is there absolute justice? That's pretty tough. It can only be what is generally agreed upon. I don't think you could say every single person has the exact same morals. It can only ever be justice based on a given moral framework. You could justify your framework quite well, but I suppose that's true.
突き詰めれ
If by
ばそう
justice
だ。
you mean absolute good, then no, it doesn't exist. Yep,
正義というものが唯一絶対の価値観を意味するなら
there's no absolute
そんな
good.
ものはない。
Yep. If you mean absolute good, justice doesn't exist.
教えてくれた。
Does my father taught me?
人を騙してはならない。人から奪ってはならない。人を虐げてはならない。悪を拒んで正しく生きることが人としての正義だ。
To lie, cheat, and steal to force suffering on others, it's evil, and to reject that evil is good.
倫理か社会正義か
Moral law, the
それは
greater good
要
of
するに
society,
多数
decided by
決の
majority
結果
rule.
だ。
Decided by majority. Well, debatable, but yeah, okay. In this case, might be decided by majority rule.
軽んずるつもりはない。
It doesn't denigrate their worth. They're valuable, but not absolute.
絶対的な真理などではない。
After all, to inflict suffering on someone else, if to kill someone would be to force suffering on someone else, even for a brief moment. Or to not give everything you have to help someone else at all times. They're valuable but not absolute. Of course, you can bend policies. You're wrong.
違う。
お前が正義を信じることを俺は止めない。
I'm not telling you to stop believing in
その思いは尊い
justice.
と
Your
思う。
love of good is something to admire.
正義を信じて悪と戦うこともだ。そ
Am
の
I
勇
telling you
気
to
も
give up the
尊い
fight?
と思う。
Your courage too, I deeply respect.
だがその戦いに正義を名乗るな。
Telling you to stop calling it justice.
お前が正義の虹を報じて戦い勝利すれば人々も正義を信じる。悪なる敵と戦い勝利することは正義なのだと
When
信
you
じる。
hold your deeds up and say this was right, you make other people
お
believe
前
it
たち
too.
にはそうさせるだけの
You make them
力が
believe
あ
it's
る。
good and to kill those they deem evil. Don't you see? You, Masamune, is chosen of the power to inspire. I'm not sure why you... Okay. So, don't say anything you do is ever right? I don't quite understand that. Okay, so never say anything you ever do is right. Seems like a weird choice. Especially as a figure with the power to inspire, surely you should inspire people to do things you deem are right? Or at least a responsibility to suggest people abstain from doing things you believe are wrong, right? As any authority figure? Surely. If you have the potential to inspire people or have people do things, that's what you should do, right?
皆が戦いを賛美し戦いに身を投じる。
Those who
戦い
inspire
の
will
渦
throw
が
themselves
拡
into
大する。
battle, believing it a virtue, and everyone will forget that it's nothing but hideous slaughter.
殺し合いに過ぎないその本質が忘れられ正義の名のもとに戦いが連鎖する。
What are you expecting, Kageaki? This seems stupid. This seems like we're back to utter nonsense. Never project that anything you do is good. Make sure everything people believe you do is evil. Like, people should only ever hate you. I'm completely lost on how he's posing this. So, don't stop believing in your personal love of good things or justice. Okay. Never call it justice, never declare what you're doing is good. Or that you are a good person. When you hold your deeds and say, I did the right thing, you're making other people believe it. So never imply that anything you do is good or was right. Like, okay, make them believe that you make them believe it's good to kill those they deem evil. Don't you see? You have the power to inspire. Okay. So, in conclusion, we shouldn't imply that anything is good or bad, and we should just suggest we're murdering people for the hell of it? I don't quite understand. So, I don't understand why you just say, like, why would you want, like, a celebrity, let's say, to suggest that everything they do is amoral? Like, you say, hey, I think it's good to help I think it's good to, let's hold up a deed. All right, I'm helping the homeless. Don't hold this up as a good thing, because you might make other people think that helping the homeless isn't a bad thing. And that's wrong. I'm not sure how that works. It's like, okay, so never do anything you believe virtuous or imply that anything you do is virtuous. And if someone asks, never say it. Never say that it was virtuous, because you might, isn't that like the opposite of what you'd want to do? Or like, never do anything that would imply you're virtuous. Like, I'm kind of lost on this one, as his rationale doesn't seem to make sense. Surely the whole purpose of you being like someone with the potential to inspire people should be not to inspire people to do things you believe are wrong. Like, you don't have to inspire people to do good things, but at least you shouldn't inspire them to do things you think are wrong. Because otherwise you're just you're like literally worse than like the person who just does those things and isn't well known, because you're spreading it, right? Like, doing bad things and making more of it happen outside your influence is even worse. I'm kind of lost on that. Okay. Well, I guess we'll continue this. Sure.
わかるか
You'll bring chaos to Yamato.
お前
don't you
は
see?
混沌たる騒乱をもたら
Of
す者に
course, of course. So he's like, you'll bring chaos to Yamato by implying anything is moral. Therefore, do nothing moral, and never imply anything you do is moral, so nobody's ever inspired to do anything ever. That seems like a bad philosophy, and also is pretty dead end. So basically, like, stagnation is the goal of all life, is to stagnate. Nothing should change, because nothing is either good nor bad, as again, we can't make value judgments or moral judgments, as all things are both good and bad. This seems like a bad course of action when you're trying to determine the direction of a country. Surely if you're trying to determine the direction of a country, you'll have to make a moral judgment at some point. And he's saying no moral judgments should ever be made whatsoever. That's a weird choice. But alright, okay. Exalt no virtue. Exalt no virtue and decry no blasphemy. Alright. Certainly an interesting thing for a leader to do. Okay.
Ginseigoの後釜になる
You'll become the next Ginseigo. Okay.
だから
Promise me Ichijo. Okay, so let's control F replace this. Anyone who says anything is good or bad is Hitler. Got it? That's what we're doing. We're unironically making this statement. If you say anything is good or bad, you are literally Hitler. Or sorry, if you say anything is good, you are Hitler. Okay? If you say anything is morally good or bad as a public figure, you are literally worse than Hitler, okay? That is a terrible That's a super hot take. Holy shit. He says claiming anything will make you Ginseigo. I don't agree with that in the slightest. That doesn't even make sense. But whatever, okay. Promise me Ichijo. Sure.
正義は胸に秘め
Leave justice in your heart
二
where
度
it
と口に
belongs.
しないと約束してくれ
Promise me this and I'll gladly give
お
you my
前
head.
一条
Please? No, that's stupid. Feel sorry for Ichijo having to listen to this. I won't.
私は悪を滅ぼして正義を貫徹する。隠したりなんかしない。それじゃあこの世を正しくできない。
Remember that under his statements, you should never decry anything the Rokuhara do because they just do it because they want to. And you can't make a moral judgment on anything they do. So if they go and kill your entire family, you can't make a moral judgment on that and say that it was wrong. You just kind of shrug and let it happen. It's pretty dumb. Alright. I won't hide it. I'm going to keep fighting evil and make sure everyone knows what justice means. It's the only way to set the world right. I mean, I don't want to believe... I don't know if your justice is correct, but I believe that taking an action or making a moral judgment on something is probably more useful than abstaining entirely from a moral judgment at some point.
父様の願いが果たせない。
The only
私
way
は
to make father's dream come true. I'm
綾音一条だ。それ以外の誰にもならない。
I'm Ayane Ichijo and I'll never betray my name. I won't betray my name. Okay.
そうか
Alright.
俺も村正であり続ける
Then I too will stay true to my
戦
name.
いの醜悪さを暴き立てるものであることを通
The
す
truth of Battle Bear.
正しいと尊いと思うお前よ
I deem you good and righteous, and therefore you must die. But you haven't killed anyone who's evil. I guess he kills people regardless now. He kills people who are neither good nor evil. He kills good people and he kills bad people now. He kills everyone. This time it's real.
あなたは今度こそ本当に私を裏切ったんだ。
Is it? This time it's real. You betrayed me?
行くぞ
If this is to be my answer to Ichijo, this rejection, this betrayal, then I must deliver it with all the strength I still possess.